The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
The 2024 season is officially in the books, and the Jets wasted no time, reportedly moving on from Aaron Rodgers. Jets analyst, Jets insider, Robby Sabo joins us to break down the latest. It's the Jake Asman Show. Let's hit it and get it started.
Man, our Jets are primed to win another offseason, baby.
I wanted this job. Put your seatbelts on and get ready for the ride. And I'm ready for it. It's all about the Jets. This is bigger than me. I look forward to this. We're the freaking New York Jets, and we're built for this shit.
We bleed Jets green each and every day. Will the playoff drought finally end? Kings of the offseason, baby. This is what we do. At least we have Garrett Wilson. We have Breece Hall. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chat, baby. Cut the line. We have Sauce Gardner. We have Quinn Williams. Prepare to be underdogs. Now it's time to talk all things New York Jets. It's the Jake Asman Show.
Happy Monday. The NFL season is officially over. The Super Bowl sucked, just like the Jets season sucked. How fitting. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us right now in his weekly spot on the show to talk about everything going on with the New York Jets is the co-founder of JetsXFactor.com, the great Robby Sabo joins us now. Robby, good morning. Happy Monday, and let the depression begin as we have now run out of football games to talk about.
Dude, happy Mekhi Becton is a Super Bowl champ day. How about that?
Congrats to Bryce Huff as well. It's like getting an A on the group project you didn't participate in at all.
Inactive. I mean, dude, it's, think about Huff, what he did for the Jets last year, not doing for the Eagles this year. Think about Becton. Showed glimpses his first season, but left too many games injured. And now he's a stud at guard in his first season with Philly. I'm not saying he's going to stay healthy for his entire career. That's a stretch. But if you have to look any further than coaching after evaluating Becton and Huff and Darnold, you don't know what you're looking at. I'm sorry. The coaching is the missing link here with the Jets since Rex. And I know it's that simple, folks. Like, it's coaching.
And by the way, think about how good of a team the Eagles are that they gave Bryce Huff $51 million. And their defense is arguably the best in the league. They wrecked the game last night without blitzing at all, and he's not even out there. Like, it's just insane how good Howie Roseman is at his job putting together that roster. I mean, think about it. There were, I think 7 players that remained from their first Super Bowl 8 years ago or 7 years ago. And then they're in the Super Bowl 2 years ago, and now they're even better 2 years later. It's unreal, man. It's unreal. I am so jealous of every Eagles fan out there. Like, I'm watching this game last night, and like, I can never picture the Jets actually in the Super Bowl in my lifetime. Like, it's just crazy to fathom that the Jets play the same sport as the teams we were watching last night. Not even Kansas City, but just watching what the Eagles did and what the Chiefs have been. Like, they're so far away from that. It's depressing.
It's terrible. And I had a dream once, many, many years ago. I think it was after he already left and went to Tampa. But I had a dream the Jets won the Super Bowl with Todd Bowles as head coach. And I woke up and I needed professional help after that dream because it made no sense. So, dude, Roseman did a great job, but the coaching too. The personnel without the coaching makes no sense. It doesn't work. And what Sirianni and that staff did with Hurts, a guy that no one really, I don't want to say no one coveted, but no one coveted in terms of a can't miss guy. And he still can't make every throw on the field the way you want him to at this level. But the coaching puts the right system and scheme around him, and they put the right personnel around him, and they take advantage of the stupidest rule the NFL ever put forth in terms of allowing offensive players to push the ball carrier, and they get it done. And again, comes back to coaching.
Hit the like button if you're just tuning in. We're talking with Robby Sabo. Let's now get to the story that dropped yesterday during the Fox pregame show, because, of course, on Super Bowl Sunday, the Jets still need to dominate the news cycle before the game. This was Jay Glazer on Fox with the bombshell report on the Jets moving on from Aaron Rodgers.
I'm going to shift gears here. I do have some breaking news right now to report on the show. That's what we do. And it involves another Super Bowl MVP, and that is Aaron Rodgers. And guys, I've learned that Aaron Rodgers flew back to New Jersey this week to meet with the Jets about his future. Met with the team head coach and the GM, only to be told that they want to move on from him. Now, the thing is, what does Aaron want as player or not? What happens? Did they trade him? Do they cut him? Whatever it is. But the fact that Aaron actually used his own plane to fly there to find out what the decision probably means that Aaron still wants to play another year, just not going to be for the Jets.
They've moved on, Robbie. They said, we're good. We don't need you, Aaron Rodgers. We're going in our own new direction. That direction, no one seems to know. I bring up, hey, what's the alternative? No one has come up with a good plan to this point. But your thoughts on the Jets telling Aaron Rodgers, thanks, but no thanks. We're moving on.
Yeah, I don't know. There's so many angles to this. And I don't know if what I'm going to say is going to help you, because I caught your show yesterday, if it's going to help or hurt. Number one, it comes out on Super Bowl Sunday. I'm not totally convinced yet that what I need to know is, was this an Aaron Glenn decision, a Glenn and Muji decision? That's number one. Number two, to what level was Rodgers willing to take a pay cut? Because if he was willing to play ball to a point where it was tremendous news for the organization, it would have been cheaper to keep him. We don't know what the pay cut would have been, what he was willing to do. That's the first thing. I think it's tough to evaluate without knowing that. Could Rodgers have been playing a game and kind of being coy, flew there and is not playing by the rules? So Glenn and Muji say, okay, thanks, but no thanks. If that happens, I think you'd agree with me. We'd understand it. The Jets have been terrible. And what they're saying is what Rodgers just did production-wise this past season with the worst coaching in the league is not good enough for them. That's a bold statement. The thing I worry about is the Parcells. And I love everything about Parcells, but the one thing that's tricky in today's league, Parcells never wanted that star quarterback. There's a case to be made that moving on from Rodgers was the right move. And then Glenn made the balls of steel move here because he doesn't want the extra stuff that comes with Rodgers. And there's extra stuff, even though it might not be his fault, some of it. I understand that. But if he truly just wasn't open to the idea of Rodgers from the start because the Parcells, we don't want a star quarterback type deal, I disagree with it. Parcells had LT and he protected him in a lot of different ways. Go read some books. So I disagree if he was shut off from it from the start. If he went into it with open arms and tried to work it out and it didn't work out, okay, I understand it a lot more.
My biggest frustration is I just don't think they have a real plan. Like Tyrod Taylor,
no, they don't.
Is not a plan. Yeah, it's just not. Like I don't think you're getting better by making this move. And Quentin Williams coming out and tweeting what he did, the thumbs down emoji, and I guess we're going in for another rebuild. I can promise you, he's not the only person in that locker room that feels that way. This guy was beloved by his teammates, despite what the media and despite what other people out there try to say about Aaron Rodgers. They're wrong. They don't know him. They don't actually talk to people who do. So I just, I'm not saying that this can't end up being the right move. I just have a lot of questions that this is what you want to do right away if you're Aaron Glenn. You created a hole at quarterback and a hole now at wide receiver when you didn't have to. You had Rodgers for another year under contract. He was willing to play ball with you and redo his deal. He gives you a chance to draft the guy that could sit, try and win games next year, and then get your quarterback when it's a much better quarterback class in 2026. I just don't think they have a real plan.
They don't. And at 7, could a guy propel himself? Quarterbacks always move late. Jackson Dart's being shouted at.
Ugh.
The more, I'll say this, I don't want to get the Dart fanboys hyped up, but the more I watch of Dart, the more I like, but I haven't really dug in yet, and I plan to really soon. They don't have a plan in terms of a personnel at the quarterback. And it was kind of similar to when Favre left. It wasn't the Jets' decision to boot Favre. Would Jets fans go back and say, man, Favre with that team would have been better than Sanchez? I don't know. It seems like the ones who wanted Rodgers gone now wouldn't say that, but I kind of would. I mean, Favre instead of Sanchez with that team, that's a hell of a dangerous combo. So, listen, again, there's a case to be made. I'm wishy-washy here. There's a case to be made to move on from Rodgers, but are you going too far in terms of, I know exactly what I want and I will not be flexible by any means. I have to know what happened in that meeting and what the true intentions were, because without Rodgers, what is it? 50 million dead cap, 15 and 35, something like that.
I mean, they take it all in 1 year. It's $49 million.
Yeah, I mean that's a huge chunk. And if he was willing to take a pay cut, it could have been a lot cheaper to keep him. I hear this stuff. Nanya, who's my dude forever, co-founder, Jets X Factor, tweeted out with the Quinnen stuff. I think he's anti bringing Rodgers back, and he pointed out that this is some of the stuff, the player entitlement they have, where he believes it's a good idea to get Rodgers out of town because they need to get a good culture. And my retort was, they've been this way forever under Saleh, these players. Elijah Moore, Jamal before that. It didn't start with Rodgers. It predated Rodgers. So I think it's independent in this situation.
I think they're making a big mistake, and I could smell the 4-win season coming. I mean, I hope they prove me wrong. I am a Jet fan first and foremost. I would love to be wrong. I think you just completely tanked your ceiling of actually having a fun season next year, year one with Glenn. They're going to try and sell it on a reset year, and quite frankly, I'm sick of the reset years. Win games. There's going to be the built-in excuse they didn't have a quarterback. You did have a quarterback. He was still capable of playing at a competent level and be your bridge for a year, and you got rid of him. I don't agree with it. I don't agree with it at all. If you were picking first or second, I understand. If there were a litany of options out there that would make more sense, I would get it. You created a hole in a year where the quarterbacks, 2 holes, but most notably the hole at the most important position in sports, when there was nothing wrong with having Rodgers for 1 more year and buying yourself some time if you're a new regime trying to go out there and establish your culture. They wanted a clean reset, as if Aaron Rodgers doesn't help you win games. That's how you move on from the Saleh Douglas era. You win football games. Don't put it all on Aaron Rodgers. They won 5 games this past year. If you actually watched the games, you saw how many times he put them in position to win, and the defense failed or the special teams failed. And sure, he also did not play great. But I can tell you this, over his last 10 games, he threw 18 touchdowns against 4 interceptions and looked healthy the last 6 weeks of the year after the bye. And I think with better coaching, just like we saw Sam Darnold do what he did, we could expect Aaron Rodgers to play at a higher level next year. I understand he's older, but I mean, still, you have Tyrod under contract. Let him be the backup. So if Aaron does get banged up, you actually go to him for 2 games if you need be. That was a huge mistake they made this year.
Yeah, I mean, how did the offense and Rodgers get going this past year? I mean, how could it possibly happen without the clean reset? There was no clean reset. They made a coaching adjustment. They put Fashanu in for Tyron Smith, benched him, and away they went. They didn't stick to the run, pass, get into 3rd and long and make it difficult because we're trying to establish our physicality like they did the first quarter of the season. No, they made adjustments. So how could it flip and they start playing better without a clean reset? Because you make adjustments. See, this is the thing. The mistake is making Rodgers the symbol for a franchise's direction, whether it's reset, rebuild, or stick with it. And that's the trap everyone falls into. The media, the fans. I hope the coaches are not thinking like that. That's my worry. Because if they are, it's silly. You could do what you want to do and establish your culture with Rodgers in-house. There's no 2 ways around it. And that's the thing that I keep coming back to. Listen, it's a ballsy move to be in the spot you are as a franchise and say no to a guy who did this after an Achilles with the worst coaching in the league, with no running game, and he got better during the year. I think people are overlooking the Achilles injury factor a little too much, way too much here, because the first season back from an Achilles is awful, is tough.
You have people who want them to sign Kirk Cousins. That was what was being pitched on my show yesterday by some people. So go sign Kirk Cousins now. Okay.
Yeah, man. Cousins thrived under O'Connell and Shanahan before him, but didn't do too well under a defensive head coach in Raheem Morris. I mean, Rodgers cut through and at least gave some production with no coaching. So I don't think there's no comparison. Hate Rodgers all you want, but let's live in reality, folks. That's all I ask.
I'm seeing so many of the comments. Oh, you're still upset about this. Guys, go find a different show. I don't care. All right, I'm going to give you my opinion. I'm not going to fanboy for the Jets. I don't agree with this. Just like I didn't agree with hiring a first-time head coach. I'm still rooting for Aaron Glenn. I hope he's awesome. I think this is a huge mistake, though. I think we're just continuing to double down on past mistakes. We're now potentially creating a scenario where you have a first-time coach, first-time play caller, and potentially a rookie quarterback at some point playing this year. I just think that's a huge mistake.
Yeah, again, I love Glenn's leadership potential, accountability potential, all that stuff in terms of culture. And what he brings from Detroit in that regard, I love. But if he tries to copy what they did with Goff, a leftover quarterback, you could make any guy into something because of coaching. Sorry, dude, you don't have Ben Johnson. Like, you don't have that O-line. That would be a mistake. So I think it comes down to Glenn and Rodgers' intent going into that meeting. Were they both truly and officially in an open arm status? And if that's the case, I need to know what happened for me to truly love or hate this move. Right now, I don't like it, but I don't like it, but I can understand the want to move away from it. I just, what really sticks in my craw are folks who are saying he's washed up. You're not watching. It's ridiculous. The coaching is to try to overcome any quarterback, to try to overcome what the situation was this year with the Jets is beyond preposterous. And he did it to a decent degree.
Hit the like button if you just tuned in. Comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line. Shout out to the 806 of you in here right now as we react to the report from Jay Glazer yesterday. And if Glazer says it, it's like a 99% chance it's accurate, that the Jets are moving on from Aaron Rodgers. Make sure you subscribe to the channel again. And a reminder to everyone out there, our latest Asmaniac raffle prizes. The top two have been announced. A signed Curtis Martin helmet, Hall of Fame inscription on a Hall of Fame helmet, and a signed Wayne Corbett jersey, Robbie's co-host on the Underdog podcast. No, I didn't ask Robbie for this one. I did it the old-fashioned way. I spent big bucks on it. Wayne Corbett, signed jersey, Curtis Martin, signed helmet, gift the membership. You're in, $20 super chat, and you get 5 entries into our raffle. This will be Asmaniac raffle number 15. If you want a prize in Asmaniac raffle number 14, I will be sending it out this week to you. So check the mailbox. It will be on its way. Fire Aaron Glenn is in on the raffle. How fitting. With one
Fire Aaron Glenn handle already.
Look, I don't like this decision, but I'm all about Aaron Glenn. I hope he's awesome. But that's one raffle entry. We have a super chat here from Rat Diddy, 17 months of a Asmaniac channel member. Thank you, Rat. Great content interviews last week. Way better than the crappy Super Bowl. Thank you, Rat. And thanks to everyone who tuned in to all the interviews we did from Radio Raw. I think we did like 17 or 18 total interviews. So if you're a Jet fan, I think you got a really good mix and match combo of different people.
Gary V, baby. The Gary V one I liked.
Gary V was great. He's a true fan, man. That's what I really respect about him. We have like these celebrity fans that don't know jack bleep about the team.
Yeah,
he's been there. He really does. Yeah,
he's been through the trenches. He's even, I don't know if he strategized this, probably not, but I remember seeing him on ESPN on draft days, on draft nights, probably days, because he used to be on Saturday and the weekend. And there he'd be, and there's Gary V. And you didn't realize it in real time, but now you go back and see those highlights, and there he is.
He liked my idea, by the way, my position I want with the Jets when he buys the team.
Oh yeah, what was it? Common Sense
Director
position?
Of Common Sense. Yeah.
Yes.
He was all about it.
Yeah, it makes sense. You just need a catchy name, like Doge or something.
Did you see what these? I was about to use a word, Edward. Did you see what the Jets tweeted out last night as soon as the game ended?
No.
This is what I'm talking about with the Director of Common Sense. They tweet out immediately after the game goes final, ready for the ride with a graphic. This Jets season starts now. And I'm just like, come on, man. Read the room. And then I checked to see, did the Giants tweet something out? Like, was this like an NFL mandated thing? Every 28 other teams got to go tweet, something about how the season now. No. And it's just like, come on, man. Half the fan base is pissed. The other half is not thrilled to see you. We're ready for the, read the room, man. Even if you're pro getting rid of Rodgers, read the room. It is a ridiculous tweet by the social media team to put that out immediately after the game. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, well, dude, you just hit on something pretty important. I mean, for those who are pro rabid, get rid of Rodgers because we got to go back to the culture and Parcells and let's go team unity. Rodgers is a cancer. I'm sure Glenn doesn't love this stuff with the social media. So why are we still seeing it? You know what I mean? Like, shouldn't he have some say here? Shouldn't he try to put his foot, like, okay, every team runs social media, but there are different levels to it. And Belichick really, choked it out when he was there. And I'd expect if Glenn is so Parcelsian or whatever, you'd expect him to choke it out to some degree, but yet we haven't seen that yet. I know it's early, so we might have to give it time, but for all you pro Rodgers as a cancer people, we're still seeing the same stuff on social media. I don't like that.
Look at this. Like, come on, man. I tweeted it went viral. It was like 737 likes. But like the audacity of this franchise that hasn't sniffed a winning season in a decade and has not made the playoffs in 14 years to tweet this immediately after the Super Bowl. It's just like, come on, man. Like, you just set yourself up to get clowned by everyone. Read the replies.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I mean, shout out to Roseanne. Go F yourselves. Like, it's just unreal. Like, read who the hell is running Jets Twitter from the great Kenny Scarabaccio. What a disgrace tweet. Like, come on, man. Like, just, I love this team too much, but it's like, stop being stupid. This is such a silly, unnecessary tweet. Like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, this is why I told Gary Vee, when you're the owner of the team, I want to be the director of common sense. Just like we're not going to tweet videos of Hassan Reddick walking out the practice.
Yes.
The team is 2-5, and he's the face of this disgusting season, holding out for more money. Like,
it's a crazy one.
Oh, I can't.
It's a crazy one. And listen, it's this. I mean, the general fan. Every social media account has to placate to the general fan because there's so many more of them. The casual fan, there's so many more of them. But when the responses are like that and they're nearly unanimous, you got to look in the mirror, and I get it. And again, Jake, I'm sure you'd admit it, that there is a case to move on from Rodgers because you don't want that extra media attention. You don't want the polarization in terms of what he brings to the table, even if it's his fault or not. I think the minicamp stuff is ridiculous. Saleh should have never allowed it. And I said at the time, it's not nothing, it's something. But it's well overhyped and well overdone. But this might be a bridge too far. You can't have the Parcells mindset that I don't want to start quarterback in today's league. You just can't. It's a different time.
No, you can't. Everyone's throwed the move on, and then it's like, okay, what's the plan? And it's like, oh, it's probably going to be Tyrod Taylor. They're like, what? Really?
I think they're going to draft. I think they're going to draft the guy.
What do you think they're doing? Like, I mean, man.
I think they're going to draft the guy, and I truly
at 7.
We'll see. Maybe they trade back.
Oh,
maybe
my God.
Dude, maybe they trade back. I truly believe Rodgers was receptive and would have been receptive if the Jets were willing to take him on. So until I hear otherwise, I feel like the Jets just didn't want him back, whether it was Glenn or someone else. I don't know. But I thought if they were receptive and Glenn was interested and intrigued in that meeting, Rodgers would have loved his confrontational nature, and I thought it would have worked out. But the Jets, whether it was Glenn or someone else, it seems like didn't want him.
Rick Kent is in on our next raffle. He has gifted 5 channel memberships. Thank you, Rick. The following 5 people are now Asmaniacs. Sunday Night Smoke Podcast. David Alila, Who Dat Fam, Team Curry, and JR. Thank you to Rick for supporting the channel. As always, super chat here from Story Lynn, who writes in, depressed to be a Jet fan. 1 season with Rodgers, 2 rookies in the front office already, making a mistake. I have no excitement for next season. Well, I'm going to be fair from the standpoint of I don't know what Muji is as a GM and what Glenn is as a head coach. They deserve a fair shot.
Yeah.
I'm just not going to sit here and blindly defend every move they make. I think moving on from Aaron Rodgers without an obvious succession plan is a mistake.
What's the latest on Justin Fields?
He's going to be a free agent, and it's unlikely Pittsburgh brings him back is what I saw.
Dude, I think
Fields and Tyrod is my preferred quarterback room, but I think Fields is going to get an opportunity to make way more money than what the Jets are going to be able to pay him. They're not going to be able to take Tyrod's contract, pay off the dead cap on Aaron Rodgers, and then give Justin Fields $15 million. It's not going to happen. You're looking at like Jared Stidham, Andy Dalton. Like you're looking at like that type of quarterback.
If they could make the money work, the cap work, which I know what you just said, it's tough. I could see Glenn envisioning a QB zone read type offense, which is going to, you think Garrett Wilson was upset last year? Forget about it. But bringing Fields in, having that type of offense with a strong defense. And again, it doesn't match today's league, but I hate it, but I think I can envision that. I can envision that being a route they go down. Try to grab Fields somehow, make it work, and then draft a guy in the draft.
Ladies and gentlemen, a super chat from Jordan who says the NFL window is small. They're releasing Rodgers as if they have the Gase roster. A rebuild move when you have young stars makes zero sense. I mean, to me, Rodgers with better coaching, a balanced offensive attack, AK being able to run the football, I think your ceiling is infinitely higher than any other option for next year. Not saying that they can't win the same amount of games if it's Rodgers versus a different quarterback. Of course, they just won 5 games. We saw how bad it could be if your kicking game sucks or the defense sucks, all that. But ultimately, I think your ceiling is at its highest with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback, and I think they lowered what the ceiling of next season could be.
Win games. Stop with the planning and the Montgomery C. Burns. Just win freaking games. That's all. Like, establish a culture while trying to win games. No coach goes into the next season thinking, okay, this is our setup year. I mean, in terms of in the back of the mind, maybe, but no, you're trying to win every game and you're trying to do so from the start. It doesn't mean you're going to go so crazy to sacrifice the future, but I'm telling you, it's not this planned out. It's not. And the media and the fans hype it up to be, but it's never this planned out. They're trying to win games. And listen, if cutting him meant a drastic difference in terms of salary, it would make no sense to bring him back. But doing this and not wanting him back with the $50 million in dead cap, it's tough. It's tough. And for anyone to say it's not a close call, that's what really ticks me off, because it is as close a call as anything. But again, we still have to see what was said in the meeting, what the intentions truly were, and we might not ever get an answer on that.
I'm skipping ahead to Fiore super chat because it's spot on. The same fans that told me Rodgers' future dead cap was the reason we need to move on, even with a pay cut, are the same fans that are now willing to spread his dead cap into 26. Laughable.
If he was willing to take a pay cut, it could have been. Listen, I'm no cap expert, but it depends on how far he was willing to travel, and the fact that he said it publicly, at least once, I think more than once, it is a sign to me that he was willing to go really, really far. And all his intentions up to this point with the Jets, hanging around while being injured, taking a pay cut already, he played ball the entire time. I mean, we're acting like this guy's a malcontent, holding out for more money and all this
nonsense.
Gutted
through every injury possible to try and play, man. He showed the ultimate professionalism with that.
Yeah. I mean, listen, again, there's a case to be made to move on from him, but don't act like he's Darrelle Revis holding out for more money, or Fitzpatrick causing issues during the offseason, or whatever. Again, it comes back to hope. For the Jets fan to have hope, to envision good things, there has to be a fresh start. And for there to be a fresh start, Aaron Rodgers can't be on the roster. That's it. That's the chunk of what people aren't recognizing within themselves and allowing their emotions to take over an objective reality.
Ladies and gentlemen, a super chat from Medic429. This is an evaluation year. He is not our future. Glenn gets a pass this year, I believe, and we need to support him. He wants this to be his team. I wasn't in on Glenn, but I'm starting to be. This is what I don't understand. It's an evaluation year. F that. F that. Win football games. There is talent on this team. We just watched how many teams go from second overall in the draft to in the playoffs. How many teams go from not in the playoffs to the playoffs. Stop with the evaluation year. Glenn would get a pass at quarterback if Rodgers was his quarterback next season, and then you could move on and he'd get his guy. It'd be built up cachet, like what the Bills did when they stuck with Tyrod for a year after they fired Rex. McDermott made the playoffs with Tyrod, and then they traded up for Josh Allen. Don't tell me it's an evaluation year. The NFL, you should try and win every year, because there's no goddamn guarantee that the Jets have any idea what they're doing with getting their long-term answer at quarterback. So that makes no sense to me.
Every day is an evaluation day. Today's an evaluation day. In the GM looking at film and the scouts doing their thing. Every day is that. It's not that black and white, folks. I mean, there's some planning that goes on in the front office, but it's not that black and white. They could move on from Rodgers without. It's impossible for them to have a legit plan at quarterback after moving on from Rodgers. They have ideas, they have routes, they have patterns. Like, maybe we could do this, maybe we could do that. This is one, this is two. but there's no concrete plan. There can't be. It's impossible. So listen, evaluation year, no, that's every day.
I mean, let's just keep losing, baby. We're building that culture by winning.
Yeah, I keep hearing from Jets fans, oh, they're finally doing it right. Not going for the quick fix finally.
That's what they said about Douglas and Saleh. That's literally what was said then. They're building it the right way. They gave Douglas a 6-year deal because he knew how barren the roster was and needed time. And it's like, you don't get that much time.
Douglas literally, and I agreed with it because the roster was terrible. And it had so much dead weight on it. But he did it the right way.
But we showed patience for that because the roster did suck. This is not the same thing.
He took the highest ceiling, most patient route you can go. And so I don't know what people are talking about in terms of the correct response is finally they're actually not sacrificing time. Finally, they're actually trying to win games. That would be the refreshing change.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'll give you what's refreshing. How about a 20 spot of channel memberships from the #1 Austrian Jet fan?
I'm going to lose my gosh darn bananas.
Ladies and gentlemen, 20 channel memberships, 20 raffle entries for the Austrian Jet fan who says, I want to make it rain, baby.
It's the Asmaniac membership raffle. For every membership gifted, you receive 1 ticket entered in the raffle to win epic prizes.
Robbie, it's time to strap up. Here we go.
Yeah.
I got 20 names to read. This helmet is bigger than my apartment.
You just turned into a bobblehead.
Here we go. I can't hear you now, by the way. I had to take the headsets off. So I'm just going to read 20 names in my Jet helmet here. But I don't even know if I can find the 20 names. The chat's exploded here. Uh-oh. Austrian Jet Fed. He gifted 20 names. Nobody knows where they are. Someone got them. Here we go. I got them. Jay Sylvester, Whitney Gilmore, Gaming with Chris, Dan Rather, BNL, CJ, NYC2SRQ, Eric Bianchi, Finnegan's Flight Crew, Chico Andretti, Charles Sanders, Aaron Vargas, Joel, Andrew Calderon, Nate A, Jay Savage, Mark Paoli, Chip Kelly Second Chin, Luke Spalletta. They all have received channel memberships. That might have been 20. I don't know. Either way, thank you very much to the #1 Austrian Jet fan for his support. Jet up, baby. We don't need Rodgers. We have Tyrod. Hell yeah.
I'm not doing a good job of making you feel better. I recognize it.
I need the vent. That's how I get this out.
Do it, keep going.
Jojo writes in, Woody and Jaime love social media. I just think that we got to stop with the social media. Like, the players is one thing. When the Jets themselves post some of the stuff they post, it just completely lacks any feel for how your fan base is feeling. You know?
Yeah.
That's why I want the director of common sense. That post would never be sent last night if I was there.
Yeah, it's one of the worst decisions they ever made. I felt like was social media was the genesis, and that was changing jerseys in 2019. Jamal, Darren Lee, and the fans, they all wanted to change. Again, it comes back to the hope angle that I'm a amateur psychologist. It's hope. It's new. It's fresh. Get rid of the remnants of all the old crap that I've experienced and give me something new so I could feel like there's something unexpected and different on the horizon. And I really think Rodgers is getting caught up in that. It's just human nature.
Joey with a super chat. He cuts the line. It's like the narrative one. Rodgers was supposed to lead by our defense. That's the reason we made him our quarterback. 41 coming off an Achilles. I believe they're not giving him the credit he deserves. Yeah, I mean, I understand the age. I mean, that's a real factor. But I also think there is something to the fact he would be a full year removed from the Achilles. And just the way he played down the stretch, he looked healthy. And he looked mobile. He threw 4 touchdowns on the move. I was watching back that game last night. Like, that was vintage Aaron Rodgers. You're not going to get that every week, but I think he still proved he's more than capable of being a competent quarterback, which when you evaluate your alternative options, once again, that's why I'm so pro bring him back. I don't see an alternative.
Yeah, well, yeah, and it's the money. The difference, listen, could you get stuck big time in terms of money if you kept him? Yeah, but that's only if you're keeping him and he doesn't agree to the right pay cut. If he agrees to the right pay cut, you keep him, you have him, you play him for at least a year.
He wanted to be back. It sucks.
And you find another young quarterback while he's playing. I listen. It's a brass balls move for a rookie quarterback, a rookie head coach, a rookie GM, and a team that hasn't really figured out or recognized that they haven't lived in the modern NFL by modern NFL rules since it changed, during the Rex era, since they really took hold in terms of illegal contact, defensive holding, and then all the concussion stuff and roughing the passer. We can't be physical anymore. And I know Glenn talks about physicality. At its core, the principles, I love Rex's philosophy. I love Glenn. I love Parcells. But you gotta recognize it can't be used the same way today as it did back then.
If you're tuning in live right now, I'm doing a giveaway on my Instagram account. Go follow me at Jake Asman, and I'll add you to a random name generator, and you'll have a chance to win game-worn Robby Sabo as Maniac underwear.
Yeah, baby.
Am I telling the truth? We'll find out. It could be game-worn Gourmani's. So follow me on Instagram at Jake Asman.
Gourmani's. Yeah, he's one of my favorites now. Sorry, Bobby. He's tied you. Gorman is the real deal.
We're a couple of weeks away from Selection Sunday for the Asmaniac Madness tournament.
Yeah. I'm still not convinced it was a dry fart, by the way, Gorman, if you're listening.
By the way, shout out to St. John, speaking of college basketball.
Oh, dude, they're great.
Awesome. I was on Bourbon Street Friday night. I think it was Friday night. When they play UConn, I think it was Friday night. And that was awesome watching that. So shout out to the Johnnies.
Yeah.
Sunday Night Smoke podcast. Looks like a rebuild again. I mean, it could be. I would argue that this should be a retool because unlike when Douglas took over and Salah's first year, I think there's legitimate talent on this team. Like you go player to player, how many teams have the amount of Pro Bowl, All-Pro level players the Jets do at all three levels of their defense? The power of a number one receiver in Garrett, a damn good running back in Breeze, a solid offensive. Like there's players here. There's pieces here. It's not bad.
I guarantee you, despite the fact that there is some forward-thinking planning on the part of the front office with Muji, with the salary, with Rodgers, that's there. It's not there. I guarantee you, Glenn, even if he didn't want Rodgers back, is thinking that it's a rebuild year. No, he's thinking they're going to win right away. Guaranteed. He's not thinking that. So I'll say this to try to make you feel better. Don't think of Rodgers being gone and then bypassing Rodgers as they're immediately going into a bomb year in terms of tanking. That's not the case. This is really reminiscent of 2009, where they really didn't have a quarterback plan. They choked down the stretch. Favre was playing hurt. He retires, then he comes back to Minnesota, but he retires, and they had no one. They had nobody. They had Pennington. Pennington just won the division. Oh, the pain. Give me a gun, shoot me in the head. And they had no plan. They get Sanchez, and Sanchez came up clutch in some situations, but it was the defense, and they got to the AFC title game 2 years in a row.
Hold on. I got to take care of something right away. Bang Mateo writes, and Jake loves the rinse and repeat process. It's amazing. Bang, I want to win football games, man. What are you talking about, the rinse and repeat process? We all understand the coaching on this team sucked. So that's what we were talking about. I mean, loves the rinse and repeat process. What did you want them to do, Bang? You want them to go sign Taylor Heineke? Should they have hired your guy, Arthur Smith? Get a clue. Get out of here. I'm done with you. You piss me off to no end, and I just don't want to see your comments anymore. So guess what? You can still watch the show, but your days of commenting for today are over. Now look what you've done. No more protection from the Asmaniacs. Had to pull you out of the chat and cast you down with the sodomites. Some time in here will feel like you've been run over by the lane train. You understand me? You catch my drift? Give them another 24 hours to think about it. It's the same thing with Bang every day. No matter what, it's the wrong move. And now he's actually taking the side of the Jets. But if this is the greatest thing ever, let's get rid of Rodgers, he'd be like, how could they do that? So I don't want to.
Contrarian, dude. Look at this, Clay Hobbs. Smart football people don't look at the Jets as a quick fix. They look at it as what is it? This needs a complete facelift. Define complete facelift? Smart people look at the Jets and they say, there's talent in this building. The complete facelift is the attitude change. That's the complete facelift. It's an attitude change. It's a mindset. That's what we talk about with culture. It's not necessarily players, changing players, max exoduses and incoming guys and line changes like hockey. If you think it's all about personnel as a complete facelift, no, you're lost. It's not. It's about a mindset. And that could have been done with or without Rodgers. Yet, listen, I'll still say there is an argument to move on because he brings that extra stuff you really just don't want to deal with. Through no fault of his own, some of it, and through faults of his own, some of it. McAfee, the attention, all that stuff. But in terms of a teammate, in terms of changing the mindset, the attitude, it could have been done with Rodgers. No doubt about it.
Sean says, Titans allegedly willing to move first pick just before Rodgers stuff comes out. Get ready to learn Cam Ward. I mean, every year you get the story the team with the number 1 pick is open to trading it. So that's not new. Now, do I think it's more possible they do trade up for a quarterback now? Absolutely. I think it's definitely on the table. I don't think they will because I don't think Muji wants to put all his chips on the table and start his clock at GM on banking on, these quarterbacks who aren't supposed to be as good as the ones from last year, for example. But, I mean, if they fall in love with Cam Ward and they have a chance to get him, I don't rule it out.
No, I definitely don't rule it out. And that's number one. And number two, I saw someone in the comments say if they drafted a quarterback at 7, it's ridiculous. And guys, it's February 10th. Like the mock drafts you're watching that you're reading right now will not be the mock drafts that happen, a few months from now. It will change. Quarterbacks will skyrocket up the draft. So, don't rule that out yet. Right now, it looks foolish based on the mock drafts everyone's seeing. But in a few months, it's going to be changed. And if a guy shoot up the board and they really like someone, they could trade down, collect assets, and still get a guy.
Gator with an Asmaniac super chat. Fields landing spots. Jets, Browns, or Saints will command more than $10 million a year. Why not take a flyer on them? Who out there has a higher ceiling? I think you throw the Giants in for Fields too. I think there's a lot more teams than just those 3 for Fields. I think there's a ton of teams that are going to be interested in Justin Fields.
Yeah, it's interesting how Glenn envisions his offense. Coming from Detroit with Goff, great rushing attack with the offensive line. Goff doesn't have legs. He's a pocket passer. He's not that great, in my opinion. I think the coaching really elevated him. The personnel really elevated him. I hope he doesn't stick to that mindset with tunnel vision. He's got to explore and think about other possibilities. I could see him liking the idea of Fields and a Fields type offense, where they run the ball, a lot of zone reads, quarterback run. But, if he just, again, it's about tunnel vision. You got to be open to a lot of different, schemes on offense and not be married to one. That's all I ask.
Double R. Bottom line is Jets just capped their potential. I smell the 4-win season coming. It's fantastic.
Dude, just find a way to live in today's modern league. That's what it's going to come down to for Glenn and this coaching staff. Are they completely willing? Is he not stubborn enough to change some of his philosophies and live in today's league where so much of the traditional stuff like physicality and great defense and it just doesn't hold water anymore? It'll come down to that. And if he is, I think he could have success. But this first move, it ups the ante. Bypassing Rodgers sure ups the ante, and he's putting a lot more pressure on his name, and let's see what he does.
Dan says, so we can't be competitive while evaluating. And what's competitive? They're going to go 7-10 next year? Is that the ceiling now?
No, you could be competitive. The people that are upset about it is it's the fact that Rodgers can still play, and you had him, and if he was willing to take a pay cut, it would have been cheaper to keep him as opposed to more expensive by getting rid of him. Like if you had no money liability by cutting him, I'd be 100% on board, get rid of him. But that's not the case. Like the pay cut, the willingness to take a pay cut makes things really foggy.
Especially when it means you get Devontae Adams back as well, which now you don't.
That too. Now, here's the thing from a salary cap perspective that I'd be on board for. Glenn is looking at the trenches, and they've been getting destroyed in the trenches for years. They're soft. They're too little, blah, blah, blah. And he's realizing that he needs to allocate all the resources possible for the O-line and D-line, especially the interior D-line. And if that's the mindset and they really beef up and they really get, pretty solid in those two spots, I think that would be the best outcome in terms of moving on from Rodgers.
Donnie writes in, hey, Jay, can you do a Joe B show soon? Thanks.
I hate this team. I hate them. I hate them.
Joe will join us tomorrow at 10 a.m. Breaking news. I was texting with Joe earlier. Him and I are fired up about this Aaron Rodgers stuff. So Joe's joining us tomorrow.
I so wish he was on today instead of me.
He took his spot instead. Everyone who wanted Beningo today, blame Robby.
Dude.
Robbie had to come on today to talk Rodgers.
Dude, I would gladly jump off the ledge and watch Joe B ranting about Rodgers this morning. I'd watch it from heaven on the golden couch, but it wasn't to be. So I'll watch it tomorrow.
Mark says, Jets scored 19 points a game with Rodgers against soft schedule. Giants scored 16 points per game, trying to lose on purpose with Tommy Cutlets.
But what's the point?
Yeah, but I don't see your point. I mean, you watch the games. What were the issues for the Jets?
Yeah,
it's all on Rodgers.
Yeah,
it had nothing to do with the coaching. It had nothing to do with leading the NFL in drops. It had nothing to do with no running game whatsoever. Like, okay.
I mean, if Kevin O'Connell in Minnesota took your advice, they never would have signed Darnold.
Exactly. I had Sam Darnold do with real coaching. To all you saying, you got to get rid of Rodgers. They only won 5 games.
Again, the issues with this Rodgers thing is living in the black and white world. Introduce some gray into your life, man. Honestly.
Ladies and gentlemen, a super chat from J-Mart. Now that Rodgers is gone, with J.J. McCarthy being play for a trade, not if they stick with him in Minnesota.
I would be listen. Would I take a flyer McCarthy? Of course, on that rookie deal, I would absolutely. What would I give up? I don't know, but I think there's a 0.0000. That's a lot of unnecessary zeros. 0.00001 chance they're gonna move on from McCarthy. That he's their guy.
Double R writes in prison, you need to beat up the biggest guy to show your dominance. If AG really wanted to show that he's running the show, keep AR, but prove to the team that he is the boss, not Rodgers.
There's a lot could be said for that. And I keep saying, like a broken record, there's a case to move on from Rodgers. But there's also a case to keep him, have him be a part of the program, and have him be a part of one of the guys, which he's always willing to do. Always. Like there's definite distractions that Rodgers brings, but don't conflate that with him being a teammate and him wanting to do the right thing. I mean, I'm telling you, go watch the Tennessee game, San Fran game. He stuck with the offensive game plan to a fault. Rush on first down 1 yard, rush on second down 0 yards, third and long. Repeat it. Try to manhandle the other line, establish the rushing game, establish your identity. He stuck with it. So many games this year when it didn't work out early in the rushing game, they got down. They finally had to defragment the whole game and break it apart and then call things from the line of scrimmage. And they started scoring because Rodgers and everyone gave up on the game plan. It was rinse and repeat every week. So he's a good teammate. So don't conflate the extra stuff and the noise with that stuff.
Nick Shine's in the house. Jake, I hope we're still friends through all this. If not, a road trip to Brattleboro will heal all. Huh.
What's Shinebox's take?
Oh, he wanted Rodgers gone. I think he was like, it's a joyous day for the Jets. Well, Nick, enjoy watching a 4-win season, man. I hope you sniff in all 4 of those wins, man. It's gonna be great. Can't wait.
Yeah, it's hope, man. It's hope. Rodgers can't stay. There can't be hope with Rodgers there. He's a symbol of losing, and that's the bottom line.
Mateo, bang. How about this? Bang Mateo in the hole. I won't even send him to the hole. I give him credit for having 2 accounts because he gets sent to the hole so much that he's back for more. And he's super chatting. So you know what? I had to spend $1,100 to pay for internet connection in New Orleans last week. Who am I to turn down $2 and whatever after YouTube gets their cut? Jake, it's time to stop mortgaging our future for an 8-win season in 2025. The Adams trade was dumb and lost a 3rd-round pick. 8 wins should not be our Super Bowl. No, bang. How about 9-8, 10-7, which I think is possible next year with real coaching. That's what we're talking about here. Not 8 wins, not mortgaging the future. You're not mortgaging the future. You're not running it back with everyone. You're surrounding Aaron Rodgers with a better coaching staff, a balanced offensive attack, and you're fixing the defense. You view him through the lens of who's the best bridge quarterback. It's him by a wide margin. That's what we're talking about here. And don't give me a break with the Adams trade, all right? They had 2 3rd-round picks. They were all in. I could care less that they traded one of their extra 3rd-round picks for Devontae. It didn't work, but I have 0 regrets over that.
Yeah. Listen, the Devontae trade wasn't great, but what is Bang's point? That Rodgers can't play anymore? Like, this is what we have to drill down to. The people who don't want Rodgers, who think it's not an option and think
the Jets could only win 8 games. Imagine if the Vikings had that mentality when they lost J.J. McCarthy over the summer.
No, honestly, yeah.
Or the Commanders who started the rookie quarterback or the Texans who started the rookie quarterback. Imagine just being like, yep, no matter what we do, the best we could do is 8 games. As it like you're just throwing away next year. Like it's ridiculous.
Yeah. It doesn't make sense. They're going to try to win games. Like that's not Glenn's mindset. That's not Muji's mindset. They're not going into it and deciding on Rodgers in terms of going for it or reset. No, that's not the NFL. It's not how it works. The sucking for luck, suck for luck, Andrew Luck thing. Yeah, that was pretty transparent. But you'd be hard pressed to find real transparent tanking examples in the NFL as opposed to the NBA, where it happens all the time.
Dick Chimney's burner in the house. This reeks of the Denver quarterback move last year. Cut quarterback, dead cap, draft QB. Muji/AG trying to mirror what Denver did this year without Sean Payton. Please, no dart. Yeah, I mean, the difference is Sean Payton identified his guy and is a Hall of Fame level coach and coached him up. So who's going to do that on the Jets? Is that Tanner Engstrand? Glenn has that much faith in him. I hope he's right.
Yeah, that's my fear. That, and Saleh ran into this problem too, that he brought over, he's a first-time guy. He believed in the Legion of Boom defense. Seattle, they cover 4, cover 3, really relaxed outside. Gap attacking, relentless, go downhill and just get beat by counters and misdirections and what have you. I don't think Glenn will do that. He's going to be better strategy-wise, but Saleh believed in those concepts and those schemes so much, he was unwilling to be flexible. Is Muji doing that with Denver with what he saw with Russell Wilson and Knicks? And is Glenn doing that with what he saw with Goff and Detroit? Those are the 2 things I'm worried about. And I got to see, it's to be determined. I'm not accusing them of that, but that's my worry and my fear.
Rob wrote, we were done when we traded for Devontae. In what world was that a good trade? They were 2-4. It was right after the Monday night loss to the Bills. They weren't done. I mean, it was bleak at 2-4. They had lost 3 in a row at that point, but they were going to Pittsburgh with a chance to save their season with New England after that. There was a path back to 500. Obviously, we know what happened.
They were done.
They were done when they fired Saleh. We just didn't know it.
No. They were done when they fired Hogan and Woody started meddling. So in that world, do people realize they signed Aaron Rodgers, 1 quarterback away narrative, which the media pushed, the fans pushed, and I think the coaching staff and Saleh is partly responsible for that. Woody introduces himself, fires Hogan, starts meddling. They had Rodgers for 2 years, and he really didn't play on a team that was really making the decisions from the football people. He gets hurt the first year with the Achilles. Woody takes over, and he plays a full year with Woody in charge. So the Jets signed Rodgers, and he never actually really played with the football program that he was intended to play with or play for. Think about that.
Ladies and gentlemen, hit the like button if you're just tuning in. Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. There's 1,000 of you in here live. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I will be broadcasting this show from the NFL Combine at the end of this month. We have some awesome sponsorship packages available. If you enjoyed the Radio Row content from the Super Bowl last week with some of the big name interviews, wait till you see what we have in store for the Combine. Last year, we had Rich Eisen on the show among some of our big names. So if you want to advertise, AsmanJake@gmail.com. And we could talk about the different plans we're offering for NFL Combine Week, which is 2 weeks from today. A super chat from Uno Jets. I can't believe how with Rodgers played out. Unbelievable. Only the Jets. I'm surprised Rodgers still wants to play for us. It's not a perfect fit for a Hall of Famer to end career. Let's go Jets. I mean, you couldn't have had a worse 2 years than the Jets have had with Rodgers. It all started with what him going down 4 plays in. That cursed the Aaron Rodgers era before it even really started.
Yes. Yeah. It's what does Benigno say? They don't have a culture problem, they have a karma problem.
Yeah, the karma engulfed Aaron Rodgers.
It did. And the second year he played under the Woody regime. Let's be honest. I don't know. I see another super chat here. I'm sure you're going to get to it, but how explain Glenn wanting to win if he moves on from Rodgers? Well, because there could be a number of factors. Number one, I'm not even convinced it was a Glenn decision. We don't know. Did Rodgers go into the meeting wanting out? Did Rodgers go into the meeting not playing ball? I mean, I'm sure the Jets and Glenn aren't going to leak that and tell the fan base, hey, this guy's not playing. Maybe eventually, not right away. That could be one. Number two, could it have not been Glenn's decision? I don't know. Woody said it is, so we got to take him at his face value. But there's a world where you move on and you go with another quarterback, and figure it out, but it's just hard to see right now.
I just laugh. Aaron Glenn at the press conference was asked at his opening presser what he's looking for in a quarterback, and he said a winner. And someone that has mental and physical toughness. And I'm like, kind of sounds like the guy that is 153, 87 and 1 as an NFL starter and a 4-time MVP. But what do I know?
Yeah, and I mean, again, I'll say it again. Their personalities, I thought, would get along really well. Both, I don't know if Rodgers is confrontational. Glenn's definitely confrontational, but I think Rodgers, who he is, strange cat, just unique. In the end, will respect that attitude from a head coach, that confrontational type mindset. But it's not to be. And hopefully we find out why and what happened along the way.
631 says, let Justin Fields cook, baby. Can't wait. I mean, if you tell me it's Fields and Tyrod, that feels like the best they probably could do as far as having like a chance to compete next year. Like Fields has upside, Tyrod's stable when he's healthy. Like, all right, I'm not predicting playoffs next year. Probably going to finish with 6 wins, but great.
It's a thing that's growing on me, not because I love it, but I could see them going that route because Tanner Engstrom, he coached under Harbaugh. He coached under Ben Johnson. Rushing attacks. I could think Greg Roman. I could think that type where he molds an offense around a running quarterback like a Justin Fields. Lamar Jackson in Baltimore. Justin Fields. Can he get it done through the pocket? I don't know. I mean, that's the question. Would Garrett get frustrated? I could see that. But in terms of vision and for 2025, I could see Fields being a target for them for sure.
Hit the like button if you're just tuning in. Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. Super chat from Dana who says, Kirk, Fields, Milrow, round 2 or 3, Dart, please no. If they sign Kirk Cousins, I mean, I'm done.
I'm not like defiantly opposed to Kirk, but everyone gets on Rodgers for his age. The age thing is just a number. And I'm not saying that because I'm old. I am old, but dude, it's different in today's league. The way Rodgers takes care of himself and senses pressure, and can move a little bit. The fact that he played all 17 games after Achilles is remarkable, and not enough kudos is given to that. Kirk, I don't want Kirk. He's a disaster waiting to happen.
He didn't want the Jets the last time around. He was using them for leverage. F that guy. He's not even good.
That's right, McCagnon. Which I was against completely. I did not want that to happen. I was glad it didn't. But Kirk
I actually did go on Kirk that year because I had no faith in the Jets drafting a quarterback.
Did you?
Sure enough. I mean, I guess it depends what you think of Sam, but that was the fallback plan. They traded up.
I wonder how it would have worked out with Kirk. Probably not well because of who the head coach in the team. But Kirk is dangerous, man. Without O'Connell, without Shanahan, he didn't really perform too well, folks.
Big fella says, are you opposed to Russell Wilson?
Man. I mean, how much you paying him, I guess would be the question. But I'd much rather have Fields and, destroy the defense's soul on the ground with his running. I'd rather that.
Russell Wilson, I'm good. No thanks.
Yeah, he falls into the Kirk category for me.
Yeah. I mean, to me, Tyrod is the same thing as Russell Wilson. So then try and find a younger guy with maybe some upside. That's why I like Fields.
Yeah, it can't be, dude. It can't be Tyrod. He's got to stay back. He can't stay healthy, and he won't stay healthy.
No. I've said this. If you guaranteed me 17 games of health from Tyrod, I would understand the Rodgers thing more. Go look at his history, man. I covered him in Houston. It's everywhere he goes. He's gotten hurt against the Jets twice. Jet fans should know this. And also, I think people have this perception that Tyrod's a lot younger than he is. He's going to be 36 by the time next season starts. He's old too.
Who's older, quote unquote, Rodgers or Tyrod? Who's older football wise? I would say Tyrod based on how many games he misses compared to Rodgers.
It's just brutal. All right. Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. For those just tuning in, we have a new raffle. Top prize, a signed Wayne Corbett jersey, a signed Curtis Martin helmet, and a replica New York Jets Super Bowl III championship ring. I was able to get another couple of these ordered. So another Joe Willie Namath themed Super Bowl III ring is one of the prizes for our weekly raffle. We did our most recent one on Friday, so we plan to do another one later this week. So gift the membership if you want in, or a $20 super chat will get you 5 raffle entries. Robbie, do you have time for a few calls, or you got to run?
Nah, let's do it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's say hello to John, who's first up on the Gusbuster hotline. Hey, John.
What's going on, guys?
What's up, John?
What's up, John?
So, Robbie, you touched on something that is completely true. Woody Johnson meddled. It was very apparent. But if you really think about it, Aaron Rodgers got his ass kicked first half of the season. He got his ass kicked.
Oh, yeah.
And the guy played through all these injuries. He finished strong. But in the end, Joe Douglas missed. Mekhi Becton, last year, the left tackle. The year before, the left tackle, where Aaron Rodgers got destroyed his Achilles. I mean, we got to win in the trenches. That's the bottom line. I don't, listen, Rodgers is gone, okay? We got to move on. It sucks. But, my hope is that these guys really have a plan to rebuild our strengths. And that was the defensive line. It was, we don't really have great offensive tackle on the right side. Getting older. We need youth, and these guys, if you saw the game last night, Philadelphia, I mean, their defensive line won that game, man. I mean, Jesus.
JC's tackle situation is brutal.
Yeah. I mean, they got exposed hard.
Yeah.
So, as much as it made sense to keep Rodgers, I mean, what do you do? What do you,
It depends on the pay cut he was willing to take. If he was willing to take a legit pay cut, I mean, keeping him might have been cheaper. But the plan is probably culture, moving on from him, establishing something new, being the alpha dog, number one, and number two, trying to take all the dead cap money in 1 year so you're fresh the next year. That doesn't mean they're tanking, but it sure does feel like it. And Douglas's problem, he didn't miss on Mekhi, he missed on the coaching.
Yeah, absolutely. And we talk about culture on the field, but what about the culture inside the office here? I mean, oh my God. I mean, you missed on Sal.
The good news is they are cleaning house, and that hasn't happened in a long time.
Yeah, and the people that are scouting, professional players, I mean, I hope they're gone, because we missed on a lot of these free agents. We missed on all the, we let go guys that are, we could have been helped, could have helped us. I mean, man, we gutted our strength last year, and that was our defense. I mean, look at all the holes we have now. Like it's like pathetic. So, I mean, I'm not really optimistic about this upcoming season. And we want to give the benefit of the doubt to everybody, but still, I mean, anything that Woody touches right now is just toxic, in my opinion.
We'll see. Listen, if again, Glenn, I'm very optimistic about his leadership ability, about how he could hold these guys to account, and personnel. I'm optimistic about they're going to start playing more balanced in terms of a mindset defensively. With Salah, it was all gas, no break, aggressively attack the one gap, linebackers flying around. With Glenn, it's going to be more balanced. He's going to get bigger, heavier dudes that two gap it on the inside. More Rex Ryan stuff where you stay square to the line of scrimmage and you do the right thing if the offense is trying to slow roll you with misdirections and counters and traps. So I'm encouraged with Glenn in those spots. I just got to see him recognize that today's a different day compared to back in the day. And if I see that, I'll be 100% on board.
John says, Jets getting rid of Rodgers foreshadows a fire sale. Everyone's on the auction block. That would be a horrendous approach.
There'll be some guys moved. I don't think everyone, but there will be some guys moved. And I think it'll deal with character and guys who don't play for the guy next to them. So do I think it's going to be a fire sale? No, but I think there are going to be shocking trades like, whoa, they just traded this guy. I think there will be one or two of those for sure.
Yeah. I mean, fire sale. Great. Let's just suck forever. That's what you people want. You want this team just to be bad forever. Forget trying to win. Let's just be bad. Let's tank for the right quarterback, because that always works in Jet history. It's just
the guys they acquire and what they focus on is going to be in the trenches this offseason. I feel like bigger dudes. So it's going to have the general fan base is going to even be more angered because the names are going to be not household. In other words,
the king of always misquoting me and taking things I say out of context is Clay Hobbs, who's back with this gem. Jake, you always say Douglas was awful, but then tell us how great the roster is. Complete contradiction. Douglas was terrible, but the reason is because he built a crappy roster. No, Clay, you bum. That's not what I've ever said. I've said it was time to go for Joe Douglas. He was 30 and 64. He got 6 years. While he clearly did some good things, I would always be the one to tell you the record was not good enough, and I would be someone who was arguing he deserved this year. Like, I didn't want to fire him at the end of last year. I also would tell you that while Joe Douglas did some good things, he missed on every big decision he had to make, whether it be Mekhi Becton, Zach Wilson, not failing until this year, ironically, to actually get a competent O-line, which they've invested all these resources in. So they had to take Olu instead of taking a receiver or Bowers last year because of missing on Becton, like hiring Saleh. That was my thing with Douglas. He did a lot of good, but the big decisions he made were bad, and ultimately it was time to go. What I'm not telling you, Clay, because you need to get your ears checked because you don't ever listen, is that I'm not telling you this Jet roster is incredible. I'm telling you that the cover is not bare. I've used that word repeatedly for 2 months. There is talent here. There are good players on this team. Are they the Chiefs? Are they the Eagles? No, but I'm not punting on next year. That's my point, that there actually is talent here. Not that they're the 85 Bears, but there's real players on this team. That's my point. They're not 2021 Robert Saleh in his first year with a rookie quarterback. That's not where this should be. This should not be a fire sale. This should not be a rebuild. They should try and win games next year because there's talent here. You understand that, Clay? You got that? Oh, great, Clay. Thank you, as always, for misquoting me. I'm so sick of your nonsense. God.
Yeah, listen, to me, Douglas did great in personnel, but I think if he would have gone to Woody, about Saleh and said, hey, we got the wrong guy. We got the wrong coach. And if he would have done that earlier rather than later, I think he'd still be here. He died in the foxhole with him. And I think
coach and quarterback wrong. I mean, that's what kills you if you're a GM.
It does, and it still does perceptually. But I'm on this. It's not as bad as it used to be because of the new draft slot, but it kills you. It kills you perceptually, no doubt. Like, it's cheaper. In other words, a lot of organizations draft these lottery tickets, and if they don't work out, okay, you can move them real easily. Trey Lance, San Fran. But it's not going to work if you don't have the coaching. That's bottom line. Like, is Becton truly a bust, or was it the way he was handled? I don't know now. It's tough to know.
Well, he was never willing to play guard for them.
Again, it's the culture, it's the coaching, and the GM for the Jets has to be more than just a personnel guy.
Yep.
I still think Douglas did a great job in personnel from where he started, but I think he gets an F for everything else, and especially the guy he rode with, lived and died with Saleh.
Drub Cabra, trade for Josh Dobbs. He looked pretty good. I don't know if I'm making it through an offseason of just throwing out shit quarterback after shit quarterback. Donnie, speaking of which, did anyone mention Zach Wilson? God.
Oh, Cactus Johnny, number 2 pick, not a lottery ticket, Robbie. Come on. It is, dude. Trey Lance was as well. Don't take it. It's not directly a lottery ticket. You're trying to pick the wrong guy? Of course not. But that's why these quarterbacks shoot up. Because everyone in the league knows they don't deserve to. If they were truly drafting these guys where they deserve to get drafted, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, these guys who shoot up don't go in the top 10. The reason they go in the top 10 is because these quarterbacks become a lottery ticket, quote unquote, in which if you hit on one, you're set. If you don't hit on it, you could easily move on from them. Because Sam Bradford, that was the last draft where it wasn't slotted salary. You had to agree to a contract with the guy beforehand. And if you agreed to a massive contract with the guy beforehand, then you knew you could draft him, but then you're stuck with him for a long time. And that truly set you back. It's different now. I'm not saying it's good that Zach Wilson didn't work out, but everything I see, the evidence always keeps me coming back to how poorly coached they were.
A window with a view, sports talk. I'm hearing Jameis Winston's in play. Did you see my exclusive interview with Jameis at Radio Row, Robbie?
I see the little the shout out. I did. Yes.
He's a friend of the show now. We love Jameis around here.
Nice. Yeah, dude, I've always loved Jameis. It'll be interesting, man, to see what direction they go. I have no idea.
The direction of winning football games, baby.
I don't know. But I just want to, man, if I could have been a fly in the wall when Glenn and Rodgers met, were they open? Was Glenn open and receptive to a potential union there is what I want to know.
I think the decision was already made. The more I think about it, I don't think Rodgers truly had a chance of coming back.
I get that feeling too. And if that's the case, I completely disagree with it.
Rodgers walked into the room like Joe Pesci did in Goodfellas. It was the same type of conversation.
Who's Robert De Niro in this case? Devontae?
I guess.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Robbie.
No, I was just going to say, if that's the case, the decision was already made, then I don't disagree. I mean, I don't agree with it. Like, I think there should have been open arms and seeing it, open arms in terms of how far Rodgers was willing to go to cut his pay and make the situation feasible. Because if you gave him a chance and he was willing to go far, it could have been a better financial situation with him on the roster.
Jay Sylvester has gifted a channel membership, which means he is in our next raffle. Thank you, Jay. All right, one last super chat for Robbie here. It is from Nick Bigelow. He says, may sound dumb, but is a Stafford trade possible at all? Restructured contract. I don't think his trade value is all that high. I don't see that being a thing they would do, right?
No. You know why, too? Not just the money, but he's never played in the Northeast. Like, he was in Detroit in a dome, down in LA. He's a Georgia kid, right? If I'm not mistaken. I don't want him at his age. That's another thing. Rodgers, granted, he played better in Florida than MetLife on windy days. But I think he was more the injury where his mechanics were all screwed up. Nothing coming from the lower half with the drive. That one, longer slant, shallower post to Garrett. I think it was against the Colts where he just completely dirted it. I wouldn't want Stafford in the Northeast in this situation. Nah.
Yeah, I don't see the Jets making that move. I think it's going to be, hey, we got Tyrod, we're bringing someone else. We'll get our quarterback. If we don't do it this year, which I mean, they take someone at 7. Good Lord. But until we know, we'll see what happens. Things
change in a hurry with these quarterbacks. Like, I find it hard to believe only 2 quarterbacks will get drafted in the top 10. It happens every year where they shoot up and
yeah, but this feels like the Pickett year when he was the only quarterback drafted in the first round. That was like pick 23.
Yes, which is very rare. Hey, maybe I'm wrong. And maybe it's just those 2 guys in the first round, but I feel like guys are going to shoot up, and that's a dangerous thing when guys shoot up late and then you fall in love with one of them.
Ladies and gentlemen, before Robbie goes, I just want you to witness history here. Today's dumbass comment of the day is brought to you by, we're looking for a sponsor, potentially you. It comes from the great Nick Dow, who writes in, keeping Rodgers for another year is the same as giving Zach Wilson another year. Ladies and gentlemen, we will see you later. Yep, it's exactly like keeping Zach Wilson and giving Zach another year. Zach Wilson with his 23 career touchdown passes in 3 years. Rodgers do 28 this year without a running game and awful coaching. Please, tell me more, though, Nick. Tell me more. You brilliant, brilliant man. Thank you.
Yeah, I got no comment.
Robbie, thanks for joining us. Great podcast last week with Wayne Corbett. What's on the docket this week over at Jets X Factor?
Gonna see. I think I gotta reach out to him either tonight or probably tomorrow night. Underdog podcast. Check it out on the Jet X YouTube. But new version of the mobile app hit Android and iOS on Apple. So
I got it.
Install it, check it out, and have yourself a grand old time.
I love it. Robbie, thanks for hopping on. Appreciate you always.
Yeah, right. Later.
The great Robby Sabo, JetsXFactor.com. Hit the like button. Reminder, for those of you who want in on the raffle, but you can't watch the show live, there is a way to get in. You can hit the thanks button after a show airs from the laptop or desktop. And if you send in that $20 super chat, that counts for 5 raffle entries. So we added a way for people to get involved in our raffle after the show for everyone out there, which is the vast majority of you who can't check out the show live. If you are watching live, the Gusbuster hotline is open. Appreciate the 900 plus of you who are tuning in right here. Agree or disagree, we're all Jet fans, so hopefully the Jets can win games. That'd be nice. Watching that Super Bowl last night, a microcosm of the Jets season. It sucked. Halftime show was not great either. So now we move forward to 2025. Let's get to more of your calls, shall we? Let's say hello to Ray from Cali. Hello, Ray.
Hey, how you doing, Jake?
Hey, Ray.
Yeah, I'm in good spirits. I was thinking about what you were saying about the coaching, and when you look back, I gotta go deep dive. Most of our problems with this organization goes back to, like you said, the identity of the team. We've never had an identity since Rex. What I mean by that is you got the Steelers, they're gonna run, they're gonna play tough defense, and they're gonna let you make mistakes, and they're gonna win at the end. We have never ever set our quarterbacks up to be in a situation. We drafted Geno. When we drafted Geno, he came from West Virginia, and he was a different type of quarterback than we're accustomed to. We never had a system that he would he would ever fit. We drafting quarterbacks not for what kind of system we have. We're like, oh, he's the best man on the board, but you don't have an offensive coordinator that will say, hey, this is the kind of quarterback or kind of coach, this is the kind of system I'm running, and we're going to stick with this, and this is how we're going to do it. It's been chaos. Like now, Aaron Glenn is here, and I'm hoping that we got an offensive coordinator that says this is the type of quarterback we need. Aaron Rodgers is okay, but long term, we need to go this way. So I'm hoping that we finally going to stick with a coach and a GM through whatever kind of rebuild or retool it is for the whole time. I think it'll take at least 2 years for us to really see the benefits from everything, because I think Mooch and them sat down, looked at the tape, and they say, hey, you know what? We dealt with something like this with Wilson with the big salary. We don't want to stay with him. So let's go ahead and take this hit. And I've done this already. And this is what we need to do. And Aaron Glenn was right there with him and said, you know what? I trust that you've done this.
Right. So who's the quarterback then, right? Who's Bo Nix and who's Sean Payton?
Well, that's where this is the key. Right now, they're going to pick. Right now, I think Jameis Winston, like I said earlier, Jameis Winston is in play because they're gonna throw the ball and they're gonna run. But I really believe that he's copying that slinging the ball Detroit style, and they need a quarterback in its gap right now that can do it. Jameis Winston is perfect for that for at least a year while we draft somebody that might be able to learn the system. I think that's the kind of quarterback they're looking. They're going to the new running / throwing quarterback. James Winston can throw. I don't know if he runs that well, but he definitely can sling the ball. Meanwhile, we might draft. I like the guy Howard. Have you seen that quarterback Howard?
Yeah, Will Howard.
Will Howard. I'm liking him in the second round.
I mean, maybe they could take. I think they'll draft someone. I think the question is, what round are they going to do it? I mean, I don't want them to do it at pick 7. They did it in the first round. I would want it to be a trade back in scenario, so you get the 5th-year option on the guy.
Correct. I don't think that we should go for any of these quarterbacks in the first round. I think early in the second, I think your Howard's in play. The Milrow, I think they said Mill. I don't know. He's a big guy, but he would definitely be a project. He would definitely be one of the people that can sit behind, but I don't know how well he throws the ball.
Yeah, I memean, well, he's got the physical traits, but that doesn't mean he's going to be that doesn't mean he's going to be a good quarterback. You would need to really develop him. It all depends on the round. Like, I don't know. Will Howard in the second round feels like a little too big of a reach, but I mean, if a new GM likes him, you got to draft the guy you like, right? Sears writes in, hypothetically in week 17 and week 18 were swapped and Rodgers ended on a stinker against Buffalo, would your stance be different? I don't believe it would be, because I'd evaluate what I saw over the last 10 games with 18 touchdowns and 4 picks, the last 6 games when he clearly got healthy after the bye and was moving a lot better. And I'd say, while not perfect and certainly not what he once was, I believe our best path to having a meaningful season next year is still Aaron Rodgers for one more year and drafting a guy that could sit. And if that guy is not the guy, then you're taking a quarterback in the first round anyway. He was willing to take a pay cut. You also get Devontae back. Now we created a hole at quarterback, wide receiver, on top of the other needs this team already had. And we, to me, lowered our floor, or lowered our ceiling, excuse me. Like I smell the 4-win season from here. It smells terrible. I hope I'm wrong. I really do. Maybe they have a great offseason. I'll feel differently. But I'm going to keep it real with you guys. It's funny. People said I was a Jets homer. Now I criticize the Jets. Just, how could you, Jake? No, because I'm a fan, and I'm going to give my opinion. That's how this works. I'm getting killed on Twitter for the short I posted about Aaron Rodgers. I don't care. I stand by all of it. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a celebrity on the line. The pride of Plainview, Long Island. Hoodie Allen. Huge Jet fan. What's up, Hoodie?
Hey, buddy.
How are you, Hoodie? I saw your tweet. You want to debate me on Rodgers. Here we go.
No, you know what? Debate might be the wrong word. And also, I just caught the kind of middle to end of Ray's call, and a lot of what he said resonated with me. So I don't want to just, repeat and regurgitate for the Asmaniacs. I don't want this to be a call that doesn't bring anything new. So maybe I can ask you a question, if that's okay.
Let's do it.
So, and I'm always on board with you. You're my man. But I feel like there has to be some Jake Asman cognitive dissonance going on here, because I don't understand where the tides have shifted to the Aaron Rodgers love fest. Of course, he is the best actual quarterback that will most likely be on this roster. But like, if he was to come back, but like, what negative regression are you like expecting to go in the opposite direction? We just saw the exact case that you were looking for. Was this not the most gut-wrenching, like disappointing, hopes crushed season? What is your like best case scenario if you had things your way, like expectation wise?
What the Chargers just did. The Chargers were a 5-win team. Harbaugh showed up. They made the playoffs. I think the Jets could do what they did in 06 when Mangini showed up. Chad stayed healthy, and they made the playoffs at 10-6.
So you believe in Aaron Glenn is what you're saying?
If Aaron Glenn's as good of a coach as some of these Jet fans are telling me he is, then I believe he's capable of fixing the defense, hiring a real staff, having a balanced offensive attack. And I think there's enough talent on this team, with obviously some smart drafting and shrewd free agent signings, where they could be competitive next year. And I think we lowered our ceiling by getting rid of Rodgers when he still could play. He's not what he was, but he still threw 28 touchdowns this past year. And objectively speaking, over the last 10 weeks was 18 touchdowns, 4 picks. With no help from any coach, any running a game. Like, I just think I just think we're giving up on this without ever truly seeing it through, when there's no better alternative. It's not like they're picking first or second. Then I'd say move on. But they don't have any alternative.
It's the beginning of a long offseason, though. You're damning it, and you're bringing the pessimistic flames here. But there's so much stuff that can still happen through.
Like what, though? What are the options?
When the Denver Broncos selected Bo Nix last year in the first round, it was almost like, what are they doing, right? This guy has a limited ceiling. He's old in college. What an overdraft. They went into the season with their quarterback room being Zach Wilson, Bo Nix, and Jarrett Stidham. Is that the third guy?
Yeah.
Would you not have been like, this is the weakest quarterback class in the NFL, or close to there, with like, maybe the Titans in consideration?
Yeah, but I remember what my take was when they did that, because I was live. It's like Sean Payton identified his guy, and he's a proven offensive coach. Like I don't have any faith in the Jets being able to find their version of Bo Nix. It's a way worse quarterback class. You want Jackson Dart at 7th overall? That'd be the comp.
I'm not advocating for anything specifically right now. I'm just advocating for like a little bit of trust in the process, because we know what that other situation is, and we know the future capital implications of it as well. But like, let's even put that aside. Let's put aside the dead money, and like, maybe how does that impact re-signing whoever we think is an integral piece, or how does this affect our young guys and their morale going this way versus that way? Just putting all of that aside, if you're believing that we need to trust in Aaron Glenn and his abilities, and the only reason we didn't make it last year was because of coaching, well, then we need to extend a little bit of like grace to this new staff that is in here now, right? Otherwise, like I personally, I think I'm optimistic, because this last season was so emotionally crushing that I don't want to be an upset Jets fan anymore. Like I can't just be angry about every little thing. It feels like we're always in the news for nothing. Why is this news on Super Bowl? Like it's so much. Let's just like see what happens. And I can talk about what I think will happen, but I can't be upset about Aaron Rodgers, who is only getting older. Like, maybe he's getting healthier, but Father Time is also extending. We know that the hold that he has over, like, he's going to do things his way. It doesn't necessarily breed the idea that like an offensive coordinator is going to be able to instill an offense, or that we can really have a culture changer when we got a guy who pretty much doesn't take responsibility for the flaws that he has. He's shown that in press conferences and stuff like that. Like, it just feels stagnant to me. All of it feels stagnant. So I'm surprised by your negative, visceral reaction to it.
I mean, I'm going to give it a chance. Whatever they do, I'm a Jet fan, as you know. Like, I want them to win, but I think their issues are so much more about the coaching this past year than anything Rodgers related, and they could be good with Rodgers next year. Like, Phillip Rivers joined the Colts. They won 11 games when he was their bridge quarterback. Like, Peyton Manning accepted his role, relied on a great defense, and won a Super Bowl. That's like the dream scenario. I'm just saying, like, there's examples of Hall of Fame level quarterbacks, future Hall of Fame level quarterbacks buying into a new coaching staff or a new philosophy, and it working. And I just think Rodgers is clearly their best option. And I don't see, I'll be optimistic. I hope they could surprise and be a playoff team next year. But I think we're looking at a 4-win season. Like, that's my biggest thing. I think the team is going to be bad next year.
We basically just looked at a 4-win season. We basically just had that.
But why was it a 4 wins? That's my point, though. Like, the Chargers were a 5-win team with Justin Herbert. It's like it's more than just quarterback. It's also coaching. And I think Rodgers is a capable quarterback. Plus, if Glenn's a good coach, I think you could win. I think you could fight for a playoff spot next year. This team hasn't won more than 7 games in the season, Hoodie, since 2015. Like, I just don't want to throw away another year. It's like, oh, we're rebuilding, establishing the culture. I think the way you establish culture is to win games, guys, to see your process is working. And if Glenn got Aaron to buy in, I think they got a legitimate chance to actually win games next year.
But this rebuilding narrative, I mean, this is coming from people. This has not been out of the mouth of Darren Muji or Aaron Glenn. This is just, people, fans, people like yourself in the media who are interpreting it this way. But Aaron Rodgers was coming here was never the future. This was a tail end of a career, last resurgence, renaissance thing. There was always going to be a next.
So what's the difference with Tyrod Taylor then? Like, Tyrod Taylor's not the future either. He's probably the week 1 starter.
How could we possibly know that right now, though?
But like, connect the dots. Like, they're not going to be able to sign a big. They're not signing Darnold. They're not going to be able to bring in like Matthew Stafford. Like, look at the options that are out there. Tyrod's under contract at a very cheap rate. Like, they'll probably have him, someone else that's like a journeyman they'll sign, and probably draft someone, if not in round 1, day 2, in the 2nd or 3rd round. Like, that's realistically what we're looking at here. So unless Aaron Glenn's Mike Tomlin, like, and he could lift the entire team to get your automatic 9 to 10 wins and be in the playoffs every year, I have a hard time believing that this team is going to play meaningful games next year.
I'll say 2 things if you don't mind.
No, keep going, man. You're making good points. You're not wrong for feeling the way you do. I just I'm very I think there's a lot of Jet fans who agree with you. I also think there's a lot that agree with me. I think there's a lot of nuance to this conversation. It's not like black or white.
Totally. And being a Jet fan, being in this community, there's a lot of passionate people, and it's awesome. I think I've just grown a little bit weary of just the instant negativity. Like, we sign a random running backs coach, and the comment section of everywhere is like, oh, worst hire ever.
That's never been me, though.
That's the following and bought into.
I agree with you.
Talking about.
I agree with you, but you know me. Like, I've been one of the more positive people. Like, I've gotten destroyed for going on Mad Dog
unless it's Zach Wilson.
Like that, but I used to be called a Zach Wilson truther because I wanted to believe in him and support him. His parents used to message me on social media. They have his mom has me blocked. His dad unfollowed me. Like, I call it how it is. I'm a fan. You know what I mean?
Day.
It is what it is.
Block. That must have been a sad day.
What are you gonna do?
What can you do about it? I'll just say 2 things if you don't mind. One of them was when you're referring to I think Phillip Rivers and Peyton Manning. I'd also like to bring up the Matt Ryans of the world, because that's kind of what it feels like, more true to our actual situation. I don't know where exactly the next step is here, but I think we deserve more than just a playoff spot. or fighting for a playoff spot. And empirically true in the NFL at this time, it seems like if you really, really want to have a meaningful shot at being in the Super Bowl, it comes down to a certain style of quarterback. The Lions are an amazing team, and Goff wasn't getting them there. Who else was the Steelers? I mean, like it seems like year after year we see the same teams actually able to do it, and I just don't think that I think we're delaying the inevitable, whether it's Tyrod this year, whether it's Aaron Rodgers coming back this year. Whatever's going to really happen for this team has to be you have to hit on the quarterback in such a meaningful way. I feel like, as much as you hate the Bills, I would trade so much to have Josh Allen as the guy in the team.
Of
And
course.
he
But Hody,
still can't get over the hump in the AFC.
Look
So
how
why
the
are we
Bills
stressed?
built their team, though. They made the playoffs with Tyrod and Sean McDermott's first year, then traded up for Allen. That's been my whole point. Rodgers is not the future. We all understand that. But why create a hole at quarterback when you don't have to? He gives you a chance to be competitive and maybe end a playoff drought this upcoming year. The Bills had a 17-year playoff drought with Tyrod. He broke that drought. Then they traded up for Allen and went 6-10 in year 2. But you felt like in Buffalo they had a coach because he ended that drought. You knew he could coach. And he just needed to get the quarterback right. And Allen took a year to develop. And they've been in the playoffs every year since. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, obviously, they're not going to win the Super Bowl next year, but we want to throw away the chance to play meaningful games. Like, that feels like what we're doing when we're just punting on 2025 with this move. That's what it feels like.
We came into this season with the idea, we're looking at the schedule being like, we got this game, we got this game. Every game is going to be meaningful for us. And it still didn't pan out. And Jets fans will find the reason. It's the coaching. They decimated the D-line. All these
Is
things
that
are
not
true.
true, though?
No. All these things are true. But then it's just, we're just looking for someone to blame. Ultimately, we've seen it. It's Woody Johnson. As long as Woody Johnson owns a team, we'll always lose. It's like, okay, if that's the case, then why are you still a fan? Just like find a way to enjoy this process. We want to enjoy being a fan, and it's been a miserable experience. But if we're just, it almost feels like being a Jets fan is just a place to be angry in life now. And like, I want to.
I get it, but I'm usually positive. I'm just not going to sit here and blindly go on board with moves when I don't agree with them. You know what I mean? Like I'll give the Jets credit when they make smart moves. Like I'm the one picking them to win 12 games the last 2 years. Truly believed in this team, but like I'm not going to sit here and
pick them to win 4 and let's see what happens.
I hope they win 3 times that, but like
they will.
Like I can't sit here and just be positive for the sake of being positive if I don't believe it. Like that, like 41,000 people subscribe to this channel because I'm a fan who tells it how it is. Like you might like it or not like it, but I can't just sit here and pretend like I blindly love every move they make if I don't. When they make good moves, I'll tell you, I love the Spielman hire. I was raving about it the other day. I thought that was awesome. But I just got to call it how it is. Like I can't just be positive. I'm going to hope for the best and expect the worst with where it is right now.
You know what? I think you're right. Feel free to react in the moment with your real feelings, because I know you will give everything that happens from here on there a chance. I just want to provide the perspective that it is a long off season, that we don't know where this team will be at come training camp, right? And if you and I think overall, if you were to grade the people that they put in place right now, I think you could tell me, but I feel like there's a general greater sense that okay, we don't know. Yeah, this could just be like a first-time coordinator, coach. Just a retreat of everything that just happened. But you know what? I feel like I'm bought in to see what happens, because that's what happens as a fan. You buy into the process. I feel like there's some smart football minds. I feel like there might be a sense of like separation between church and state in the organization, which would be very helpful for us so that Woody Johnson isn't making direct football decisions. And if all that is the case, and they came to the conclusion that they're looking not as a punt, but they're looking at a horizon where this team has the best chance of success, retaining the guys who are young, who are stars now, and having a chance to figure out either a bridge quarterback situation, a cheaper quarterback situation for the interim, developing someone who may already be on the roster, might be drafted, or might be drafted next year. And that's going to be the key to like a sustained success in the future, a Texans outlook with like a CJ Stroud, I don't know if I'm a believer in Bo Nix, but a Bo Nix outlook in Denver, somewhere where it's like, okay, we got our guy in place now. You know what? If they think this is the way to do it, and the first step is maybe not bringing back Aaron Rodgers, and it uncomplicates a cap situation, which is going to be difficult with some of the guys who are going to get contracts here. You know, like we should be retaining Sauce Gardner, we should be retaining Garrett Wilson. we're not going to have a chance to have 3 first-round picks in the future again and actually hit on them. So if they think that's the plan and you believe in those people, I'm just giving them grace right now to see it out. That's all I'm saying.
Look, I'm with you. I'm not going to say fire them over this. I'm just not going to agree. You know what I mean? Like they deserve the benefit of the doubt, but they're not getting that much time here, Hoodie. Like it doesn't take 6 years like Joe Douglas had to rebuild a football team. This fan base has waited enough. They haven't had this team has not won more than 7 games in the season in a decade. They haven't made the playoffs in 14 years. They have not hosted a playoff game in over 20. Like, it's time, man. Like, we could say be positive, give them a chance, but I don't blame any Jet fan who's pissed off. It's just tired of it. Like, they don't deserve the benefit of the doubt till they start winning games. That's just the reality.
I hear you. I agree. And, I think we'd all say, like, no one would change the Aaron Rodgers process. Everyone was like, you know what? We're on board. We're bought in. They're going for it. It looks like we have the perfect mix of talent on the team. Plus, we just need a quarterback. I was there for all of it. It didn't pan out. 2023 becomes the biggest what if ever. If this doesn't happen, this goes this way. What can we do now except try to carve a path forward that increases the ceiling for a while? I don't see the Aaron Rodgers playoff 2025 season here anyway. Personally, I just don't see it. So I guess I'm not mourning it as much as maybe some of the fan base is, including yourself. But I appreciate the time. I feel like you probably have other people to go to, but it's good chatting with you.
No, you're good, Hoodie. It's good to hear from you. We got to hang out now that I'm back in New York. When are you are you on tour right now? Plug the latest with Hoodie Allen and all the music you're putting out.
No, go Jets.
All right. There you go. Hoodie Allen, everyone. The pride of Plainview. Huge Jets fan. Big listener to the show. How about that? We've had a bunch of celebrity Jet fans on this channel the last couple of days. Gary V, Hoodie Allen. Not too shabby. Hit the like button if you're just tuning in. Comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line. Hoodie is right. There are a bunch of people on hold. Let's shout out listener South Philly, who's in the raffle for 1. He has gifted 1 channel membership. Super chat from Spencer. He says, hear me out. Sign Fields, G5, Trey for Olave. We're Super Bowl bound. Ohio State reunion. Yes, hire Urban Meyer as head coach as well because he was phenomenal with the Jaguars in the NFL. Castaway Jet, 3 hours a day of Jet content. Zach Wilson for 3 years and now another version for 1. That's 4,380 hours of less than 10 touchdowns at their helm. God bless you. I have talked about some of the worst quarterback seasons you'll ever deal with, man. Unreal. Just look at this chart, everyone. Get ready. We're going right back to this. GTA says, notice how all the negative fans are trying to spin this as a positive. Of course they are. They love losing. They love it. Sweet smells of 4-13. That's what they love. You know who's happy today? Allen. This is his Super Bowl. Oh, my God. The path has never been clear. And they're going to win just enough to not get the right player. We've seen this. Get ready for it. Embrace it. It won't hurt as much. 25. No interruption. Holds up to this day, Hoodie. Also had the same teacher as Mr. Petrie. Hey, there we go. Coach James. Jake, I wanted the back, but I think he would not learn a new system. He's here just to add to his numbers, not the Jets. No, I think he was here to try and win. Now, we could say maybe he wouldn't be on board with a new system. I don't know. I mean, Rodgers had a first-year coach in LaFleur, and they won 13 games his first year. They're running his system. Tyrod and look for a quarterback. Let's go. Great. We're going to look for a quarterback. That always goes so well. Let's just keep looking. I'm looking. I've been looking since 69. We briefly had Chad, briefly had Kenny O, Vinny for a couple of years. Other than that, let's keep looking. Man with a rake has been an Asmaniac for 9 months. Thank you. Ryad says, no faith in Brooklyn, more like no faith in Muji. Look, Muji, good luck to him. I hope he's spot on with this. I want to win. See, unlike some, I don't want to be right. I want my team to win. So that means that I have egg on my face saying, wow, great move to move on from Rodgers. Look what they did. I hope that happens. Because 1, I'm a Jet fan, and 2, if the Jets win, it's better for my line of work on both YouTube and radio. Trust me. Matthew has gifted 1 channel membership.
Free stuff.
Matthew is in our raffle. If you're tuning in late, we have more raffle prizes that have been announced, our weekly raffle. Wayne Corbett signed jersey, Curtis Martin signed Hall of Fame helmet, plus replica Joe Willie Namath Super Bowl III ring. The more memberships we get, the more prizes we add. But those are the first three that we got for raffle 15 at the end of this week. Nick, when's Joe be on again? Tomorrow at 10 a.m. The return of Beningo on this very show. All right, more of your calls right now. Let's say hi to Nick Shine. Hello, Nick. Nick, you got to unmute your mic. That's how this works.
Yeah, the app. Oh, thank you. I was unaware. How you feeling?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm good. I'd like to have a little discourse with you. You keep pushing the narrative that without Rodgers, it's an automatic failed season next year. But we just had Rodgers on an all-in season where we brought in all of this talent on one-year deals, to load up for him, and we only got 5 wins.
Right.
In this day and era in the NFL, you cannot play offense and be predictable. And the offense with Aaron Rodgers was very predictable because every time it was a pass, we'd see him out there doing all of his checks, running the play clock down, and the entire defense and world knew it was going to be a pass. When we did come out and the few times he allowed us to run the ball, there wasn't any of that. So the defense was able to play downhill. There was no unpredictability. There was no catching them off guard. The one play I remember where we caught the defense off guard was against Indy, and it was Yeboah's touchdown on the play action rollout. There was no checks. There was no changes. He ran the play as called. Also, in the most mobile era of NFL quarterbacks, we can't go and not have a type of weapon who can be mobile. You look at the final 4 teams in the playoffs this year, all of them utilize the running of the quarterback as a weapon to take their offense to the next level. We don't have that with Rodgers.
Right.
We had Adams, we had Wilson, we had 2 stud wide receivers. Garrett Wilson is not Calvin Johnson. He's not Andre Johnson. He's not Keyshawn. He's not Mike Evans. You don't want Garrett Wilson getting the ball at the line of scrimmage, behind the line of scrimmage, or only 5 yards downfield. You want Garrett Wilson getting the ball down the field in space where he can make a guy miss. He's not given that opportunity with Rodgers. He's getting the ball too quick, and he's not a run over the cornerback, break a tackle, and go type of guy. They're not being utilized properly because Rodgers continuously checks to the plays and the routes he's comfortable with. When he does try to throw it down the middle of the field, let's be honest, doesn't look good. Go look at the Buffalo game in Buffalo. One of the few times he tried to throw it deep down the middle of the field, and it was off. I think he threw a pick right down the middle, down 20 yards down the hashes. Garrett Wilson needs to be in a system where he's getting the ball downfield and he can cook. Breece Hall needs to be in a system where the whole defense and world doesn't know we're going to run the ball.
Interesting how Breece wants Rodgers back. Interesting.
How did he do with him, though? You could say he regressed this year.
I mean, Nick,
I think they're all going to say that out of respect, right?
No, Breece is actively on social media campaigning it for weeks, but okay. Also, how about they adjust the scheme now and run a modern offense? No one's saying you're keeping Hackett. And also, you're talking about Aaron Rodgers, like the goal next year is to be one of the final 4 teams. Realistically, that's not happening. I'm simply trying to make the
Then why keep him?
Have a winning season. What do you
Then
mean
why
keep
keep
him? Because he gives you the best chance to win.
Yeah, but you're looking at it in tunnel vision. You're not looking at it big scope.
I'm looking at it in big scope.
Regime.
I don't believe there's a better alternative this year to get a long-term answer at quarterback. I don't think that exists right now, Nick.
The new regime might not believe Aaron Rodgers is how they want to start off their regime with a 41-year-old immobile quarterback.
I completely disagree with them. That's fine. But like you're talking about Rodgers, like I think that he's the future. He's not. I think he's the bridge quarterback for 1 year.
Present. We have 5 wins. In a season that he played.
So you put the Nick. You and all the people, the 5-win police. Justin Herbert won 5 games last year. Does that mean he sucks?
Yeah, but Justin Herbert's also in his prime and doesn't change the plays. He runs what's called. That's the difference. Rodgers wants to have a safe space.
How do you know? How do you know that Rodgers wouldn't be invested in Tanner Engstrand's offense?
We don't know. But we know that they didn't even want to take the chance with him. That's what we do know.
Yeah, and I think it's a mistake. You don't. That's fine. But, like, the idea that you're going to you say they won 5 games, like, great, they did. It's way more than just Rodgers. If you had Aaron Rodgers,
100%.
if you had Aaron Rodgers on the 2023 Jets when they had a top 5 defense and a kicker who missed 3 kicks all year, was 35 of 38. What's their record with what you saw from Rodgers this year?
We're a much more improved team. The offensive line issues probably would have came up at some point to hurt us, but yeah, we probably bet that was the year. It got taken away from us 4 plays in. That sucks. We'll never know.
Yeah, but that's my point. Like that, there's no reason why next year, with the talent that does exist on this team, you can't be way more competitive than any other option if you bring Aaron Rodgers back. Now you're creating a whole wide receiver as well because you don't have Devontae Adams either. That's my point.
Okay. Something you said earlier. Great call by the guy before us. Great call. It's a great
Hoodie Allen.
conversation with Hoodie. Fantastic. You made a point. Our division rival went in with a new coach, Tyrod Taylor, made the playoffs, and then drafted their MVP quarterback the following season. You don't need to have the long-term answer right away. A new regime might look at the Jets like this.
That's my point. I'm literally making that point.
Off.
But why are we ripping the Band-Aid off? Like, I don't understand.
Because it didn't work. And maybe they don't want to take it on.
Not just because of him, though. Like, you're saying rip the Band-Aid off. Like, if they don't do this, they never could be successful. I don't buy that.
No, I didn't say that at all.
But you're saying they got to rip the Band-Aid off. Why? He gives you the best chance to win football games.
But he might not be the type of quarterback that they want for their scheme. Engstrand just came from Detroit. Jared Goff's not mobile. Maybe he's inhibiting their offense. As great as they were in the regular season, maybe he's inhibiting because they want to do more. They want to get to the modern NFL that we always talk about. Having a mobile quarterback
does that. The Lions love Goff. They just paid him $55 million plus a year.
But we don't know what Engstrand wants to run. He might want to run what they run with Jaden Daniels, with Lamar, with Mahomes, with Hurts.
Who at quarterback, Nick? Who's
I don't
running
have that
offense?
answer, Jake, but you can't keep asking that question as if it discredits anybody for wanting this move. And I feel that that's what everyone who wants to keep Rodgers does. You don't ask fans what the answer is. There have been many quarterbacks that have been moved where you will be at the end of the month, where agreements come in with agents and general managers at the NFL Combine. We could trade for someone unexpected. We could go with a veteran for 1 year. We can build the trenches.
What do you mean? You know all the like that's not.
I
how
don't know
this
all
works.
the answers, but I'm going to trust these guys to do it because they have a long-term plan, not a 2025 plan. And too many fans are fixated
there is
on
no
2025.
long-term plan. They don't know who their future quarterback is. That's my point. They're not.
It could be 2026, just like the
it could
Bills
be.
did.
It could exactly. So thank you. Exactly what the Bills did. They kept the guy that was already there, provided better coaching, and made the playoffs, and then traded up and drafted Josh Allen. That's what I want to do with Aaron Rodgers. Have him be the quarterback and either get my guy that sits behind him this year, if they do it at the end of the first round or the second round, and then go out there and potentially trade up for my quarterback in 2026 in a better quarterback class. That's exactly what I want them to do.
Maybe they don't want a quarterback who rolls his fucking eyes and shrugs his shoulders every time someone else messes up. Maybe they don't want that energy in the locker room.
Or maybe
there are many reasons not. And I loved Rodgers as a Packer. Loved him. It was must-see TV when he was playing quarterback.
What if they had a running game? Maybe if they had a balanced offensive attack and they had a defense that didn't suck, that actually forced turnovers, maybe they'd be a better team next year, and Rodgers wouldn't be as frustrated like we all are watching this team this past year.
Correct. And maybe it's just the best interest. Rodgers, hey, listen, we respect you. We know what you've done in your career. We have nothing but respect for you, your game. You're a future Hall of Famer. But we're going to go in a different direction. We want to get younger. We want to get more athletic. Maybe they want to get the numbers off the books as fast as possible, which a lot of new regimes do. Joe Douglas's first year was primarily cleaning up the cap. We have a lot of dead money coming up. So maybe for them and their vision.
They had a lot of dead money this year. They had over $50 million in dead money this year. And Joe Douglas took over a team where the talent was horrendous. There's way more talent on this team. Way more.
There's a lot of individual talent, but it hasn't been brought together the right way.
Because it's been coached poorly.
Absolutely. I agree with that.
So if Aaron Glenn's a great coach, then he should be able to harness this talent and win games next year.
He could. But maybe they don't want to do it with Rodgers. Maybe they don't want the lightning rod. Maybe they don't want the weekly interviews on McAfee. Maybe they don't want the eye rolls when players don't run the check that he checked it.
They're going to love a 4-win season then. Enjoy it, Nick. Enjoy it. Enjoy being bad.
We just had 5 wins in an all-in season. How can it get worse?
Right. I mean, I understand that, but now we're basically capping our potential before it even begins.
I don't agree with that because if you go build the line and you go with a power running game and you call the plays as is and you're unpredictable and you have a creative scheme, you can be better without Rodgers. Rodgers didn't. We're not the Packers. Packers were winning 13 games a year with them. They traded him. They didn't miss a beat. Why can't we be the team with a new structure with Engstrand and Turner creating a new scheme? Maybe it involves a mobile quarterback, and he doesn't fit their vision. Maybe we will get better with the subtraction of Rodgers. You have to factor that in. Maybe that helps us keep Garrett Wilson.
It shouldn't be hard to win more than 5 games, but they're not winning probably more than 7 at best now.
Can I lock you into coming on my show for the Win 6 victory celebration? Can I lock that in now? When we win our 6th game this season, you in?
Great. I mean, you love losing. I mean, just sniff.
I don't love losing.
No,
don't
you love
that.
it. You
don't
love it.
Try
You want to
bathe. And say that.
You want to bathe in the filth of a 4-win season. Sniff it, Nick.
I never said that.
4 wins.
I never said that.
Let's just lose forever. Let's keep going.
I never said those words. I said let's see what their plan is. A smart regime does not come in, look at what we just had, and say, let's run it back. That's what the Jets have done. We tried to run it back.
And let me tell you something.
We kept Fowler for too long. We tried to run it back, and it was a disaster.
I detest the phrase "run it back" because no one's saying bring back Hassan Reddick, bring back Michael Clemens, keep hacking around. We're simply saying Rodgers, if you view him through the lens of a bridge quarterback, and then you have flexibility to draft someone this year that could sit or buy you some time until next year, that gives you the best possible chance of maximizing the existing talent that is on this team and potentially fighting for a playoff spot and ending the longest playoff drought in sports. I'm not sitting here trying to act like Aaron Rodgers is great or he's the long-term future. I'm simply pointing at other examples in recent NFL seasons, like what Phillip Rivers with the Colts that year or what Chad Pennington did with the Jets in 06 when Mangini got there, that if you have competent quarterback play and improve the coaching in a conference that now has 7 teams that make the playoffs, I don't think this team is that far away. They lost 3 games because of their kicker. They lost probably at least another 3 because the defense collapsed. So I do not believe it makes sense to get rid of our best option at quarterback when there's not an obvious succession plan in place. It's not like we're the Packers that had Jordan Love sitting. We have no one. So I think it's a huge mistake to just kick Rodgers to the curb when he clearly could still play at a competent level.
I'll give you that. But you can't write the season as a failure because on February 10th, you don't know the quarterback. We'll know the quarterback in time.
Great.
We'll know the quarterback. And it might be a mobile quarterback. It might be
it's going to be Tyrod Taylor.
It might be somebody that helps us evolve to modern day NFL offense and not a guy who just throws 100 passes to Garrett Wilson at the line of scrimmage and says, hey, best of luck, kid.
I don't think that would happen because they have a new offensive coordinator. There'd be a different offense.
I love Rodgers, but he's always wanted a safe space. He's always wanted the checks. He's always wanted the fade to the sideline where it's a low interception rate. He's not a guy who puts it 15 yards over the middle very often. And you have to be able to use the entire field.
When the week 1 quarterback's Tyrod Taylor, what are your thoughts going to be?
Let's see what we did on the defensive line. Let's see if we completed the offensive line. And let's build a structure so that a 2026 quarterback, which I want to go all in for, with a much better quarterback class, build a structure, get another weapon, and then create an environment, which we've never done for a rookie quarterback to come in.
But hold on. Where are you getting this money from? Because now you're taking a $49 million dead cap hit with Rodgers. If he's back for a year, he's playing at $23 million against the cap.
I said in 2026, you go trade up all in for a quarterback. That money would be off.
But why can't we do that exact thing with Rodgers, who's our best option at quarterback, and then trade up in 2026?
We could have, but these guys don't want to.
Well, that's my point. That's what I'm saying.
It was an option to do it, but it's not an option they wanted to choose for many reasons.
Obviously, it's not, but this just happened, so I'm reacting to it. I'm going to get on board with what they do because I'm a Jet fan. I'm going to hope it works. But, that's my point here. I'm not going to blindly defend the Jets when the option you're trying to sell me on is what I want to do. I just want it to be Aaron and not Tyrod because I think Aaron's better than Tyrod.
I'm not saying Aaron's better than Tyrod, or I'm not saying that Tyrod's better than Aaron. But what I'm saying is there's an evolution in football, and we are off the boat. We don't have a chance to win in this day and era without a mobile quarterback.
He's 36 years old, Nick.
Opens up your run game. But Rodgers is 41. You can't discredit Tyrod because of his age and want Rodgers.
But Tyrod never is healthy. So why am I downgrading at quarterback to do the exact same plan you want to do?
But the plan can evolve because you have a mobile quarterback. You can open up your run game with RPOs. I'm in shotgun and just handing it to the running back next to me when everyone knows it's going
That's
off
the
the left guard.
scheme.
Doesn't
That's not Aaron. Go listen to what Robby Sabo was saying when he was like, Aaron was following the game plan to a detriment the first few weeks, and they were trying to run the ball. And then he started checking out of it because they had no run game. You don't think Keith Carter, as a run game coordinator, had something to do with it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's something
You don't think it's crazy that Breece Hall had 0 games this year with 20 carries or more? You don't think a real offensive staff, if Engstrand is worth his salt, will look at this and go, we got some running back talent here. We have a really good left tackle, a good left guard, a good center, a good right guard. We'll see what happens at right tackle, but you have 4 fits of your O-line in place. Why don't we have a balanced offensive attack? Hey, Rodgers, you're the greatest play-action quarterback ever. We'll incorporate that more into our game.
We'll never know how many runs he checked out of. We'll never know how many calls for Breece Hall.
But they also had no effective running game. Did you watch my interview with Brian Baldinger saying it was peewee level football, how they had the inability to block it up front? Like, this is what I'm talking about here. So it's like we're just getting rid of Aaron, and it's like,
wait, you just said, Baldy said what? They had the inability to block up front, but we're bringing back 4/5 of that line.
No.
Massive maulers. I don't want to get into that.
He's talking about the scheme. He's talking about the scheme. He's not talking about the linemen. He's talking about the he's talking about how there's talent there individually, but the running game scheme was awful. He's like, I don't want to throw anyone under the bus. He's talking about Keith Carter. That's what he's talking about. He's the run game coordinator.
I misunderstood that one. I see a comment in the chat. No, I didn't say Matt Ryder. I didn't say he changed every play. He changed all the routes. That was what all of the voguing was doing at the line of scrimmage. Forgive me for saying play. He changed the routes. We just didn't run a scheme where, how many times do you see teams get the huddle, break, get to the line, snap the ball, guys are wide open because the scheme is to get them open. All of the checks regressed us, in my opinion. Sure, he threw 28 touchdowns. Any quarterback who starts 17 games in this day and era in the NFL where there's no defensive checking at the line, the Ty Law rule has been put in where you can't bump guys at the line of scrimmage and take them off their routes. It's easy to throw less than 1.5 touchdowns a game in this day and age in the NFL. You got to have mobility. You got to be able to attack downfield. You can't let the defense play downhill.
Right.
And I feel
let's have Tyrod at age 36 until
there's no guarantee it's Tyrod. The NFL Combine hasn't happened yet where they can make a trade. NFL free agency hasn't happened yet.
What do you think it is, though?
Like real cuts haven't happened.
All right.
I don't know. I don't have that answer. But
so
don't
call
try
back
to discredit me because I'm not the one making those decisions. It's February 10th. Let's get through free agency. Let's see what happens. And then let's revisit it and ask me about the quarterback. But I can't give you an answer for something that hasn't happened yet.
You smell that? I smell 4 wins, Nick. Get ready. Embrace it. It's your destiny. You wanted this. You got it. All right. Here was Nick Shine finding out the Jets are cutting Rodgers. Accurate or no?
A little bit. A little bit.
Nick, we might disagree, but all the love, man.
I love you, buddy. And the only thing that can heal our relationship is a surprise road trip to Brattleboro to go see
That's
Bob.
right. That's right.
I love you, buddy.
You know what will heal our relationship? The Jets are good next year. That'd be awesome.
Oh, no, because you are going to be Mr. 4-Win. That's going to be a shirt on my merch store when it launches. Jake Asman, Mr. 4-Win.
Make sure I smell the 4 wins because I smell it. I've lived this too many times. You can smell
what the Jake is cooking.
Oh my God! You smell the 4 and 13. It's our destiny. Just get ready, embrace it.
I love you, buddy. Thank you for allowing me on, and thank you for not sending me to the hole. I said in the Discord last night, I was like, I'm afraid to go on. I'm like, Jake's gonna put me in the hole.
Yeah, you have a wrench next to your name. You're too important.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you.
Nick Shine, everyone. Subscribe to the Nick Shine Show on YouTube. I hope Nick's right. I hope we have this innovative offense and this great quarterback. It's going to be Tyrod, though. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me who the quarterback is. It's not Tyrod Taylor. Come on. Coach James says, let's see if the new administration shifts our culture. James, you're in the raffle, by the way, for 5 with this. Thank you. We have to shift our way of being and easy. I'm a Jet fan of 48 years. Something has to give. I'm tired of the same old thing. We transform. I'm personally tired. I don't know what this means, James, but I hope you're right on whatever you're talking about here. All right. The culture. I've heard the word culture too many times. You want to know how you change the culture? You win fucking football games. Sorry, but that's true. Purple Belt Mike says the feds need to arrest the 5-win police. They're worse than the Minutes police. For my fellow Knick fans out there, the Tibbs Minutes police. They only won 5 games, Jake. Yeah, I get it. I watched every game, unfortunately. All right. I talk about this team every goddamn day of my life. I know they only won 5 games. I also saw what happened in these games. All right. And while Aaron Rodgers certainly is not blameless, he was bad in several games. So I flew to London and spent thousands of dollars to watch that shit show. All right. I'm just simply telling you, if you take a step back and evaluate the alternative options, you're not finding a better one. That's the point. And we now have a huge hole at wide receiver. So we get to spend the 7th pick in the draft on a wide receiver now? I mean, that's now on the table if there's no Devontae. M. King writes, and I love Jet fans. We're so bipolar. Give Glenn a chance to be his own guy. The leaks are closing. I think Rodgers on McAfee didn't help. Let's wait for OTAs. Jet up. There's going to continue to be leaks. All right. Every new regime I hear, oh, they never leak. They always leak. Salesman writes in, with Rodgers, we could have immediately found out if Glenn's capable of building a staff and winning with a decent quarterback play. Now we have to wait years. Yeah. I mean, unless they strike gold this year with someone we're not thinking of, like, someone brought up the Bo Nix. Like, okay, if they take Jackson Dart and he's awesome, great. I want you all to know, I truly hope that happens here. Like, I just, let's be realistic. Castaway Jet, why don't you like the L's and a 5-year rebuild plan? Yeah, there's nothing like it, baby. Rebuilding forever. Nick writes in, Bryce Young trade, I'm just throwing it out there. Not happening. Now what, like, this is another reason why I can't do this. I can't do months before, because free agency doesn't start till March 12th. I can't do now a month of people throwing out these shittiest mother effing ideas at the quarterback spot, like trading for Bryce Young, as if that has any possibility of happening. Trade for Bryce Young. I'm going on a date tonight with Cindy Sweeney, guys. All right. I don't know how, but watch. Unique Islam. Thank you for the $2. Good God. More calls. John's next. Hey, John.
What's going on, Jake? How are you? It's so, you just mentioned, the Jets rebuilding. It can't really be a rebuild if they haven't built anything recently, right? So what are you really rebuilding? Shit. I mean, honestly, like, it's not a rebuild. It's just building yet again. It's so frustrating. Like, I'm with you. And I get the people, like, with the perspective of not keeping Rodgers. I get their perspectives a little bit. I think Hoodie Allen made some good points. But I'm with you on they should have kept Rodgers one more year as a bridge quarterback. We're just tired of this. It's been 14 years. I'm 20 years old. I've never, been a passionate fan during any of the playoff games. It's been 14, and you mentioned 20 years since they posted a home playoff game. That's as embarrassing as it gets. It's so bad. I think all these people that didn't want to keep Rodgers, they can't give you an answer on who's the quarterback's going to be. What are we just going to get a random quarterback out of the blue and he's going to turn out to be like a Bo Nix, Tyrod Taylor as a starting quarterback? Are you serious?
No, I love that. Well, we got to wait and see, Jake. No, I talk
wait
about
and
this
see
team
for
in real
what?
time. What am I waiting and seeing? John, here you're spot on, because remember, we always know the options going into every offseason. Matt Stafford got traded to the Rams before the Super Bowl that year. The Jets were linked to Aaron Rodgers on Super Bowl Sunday 3 years ago when that whole thing started. Like, we knew Jimmy G was going to be available. We knew Derek Carr was the other alternative. Like, the options. The top guy, Sam Darnold, for obvious reasons, he's never coming back here. And outside of that, the other options are all worse than Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. I saw someone in the comments earlier saying, "Oh, I trust this regime has something, in the works here." Give me a break. In the works. Who the hell is going to get traded here? Matthew Stafford isn't happening. Sam Darnold, we don't have the cap for him, and honestly, he's not going to want to come back to the Jets after a failed experience as a rookie here. So that's not going to happen. Our options are as follows: Justin Fields, 4 wins. Jameis Winston, 2 or 3 wins probably. Tyrod Taylor can't stay healthy for more than 5 wins. So yeah, another 4-win scenario. I'm sick and tired of this. It's like you're right, Jake. I think Tyrod Taylor is the most realistic option to start games as a Jets quarterback.
He's the quarterback. I'm going to get his jersey.
He's the quarterback. As of right now, he's the quarterback. If not, and people, I saw my Nanny. I don't know if you probably follow him on Twitter. He's one of the most. He's posts all that film stuff. He's trying to sell people on Jordan Travis this morning. Are you serious? Jordan Travis. This guy didn't practice one friggin' time, one full practice. He didn't practice one time last year. Are you serious? This is how bad we've gotten. Just finding hope in a guy that didn't practice once last year. It's a total disgrace. Good. You're right. To all these fans that didn't want to keep Rodgers, have fun with the 4 wins. I certainly won't have fun because I'm sick and tired. I just want to see us clinch a playoff. I don't care about Super Bowl. You can't talk Super Bowl until you make the playoffs one goddamn time.
You got to win, it's man.
So annoying.
And
first of all these players that all the core players that we have: Quinnen Williams, Sauce Gardner, Garrett Wilson. They are going to ask out if you don't win soon enough. They're going to all want out, and there it goes. Then you have to build again. I'm not going to call rebuild. You have to build again from bottom up. It's ridiculous. So, I mean, culture, win freaking games. That's how you build a culture. I'm sick and tired of this. I'm just really oh man, it's brutal. It's so brutal being a Jets fan, man. This is like, and you're right. Unfortunately, we had to watch all those games last year. You talk about them every day. Jake, my prayers to you, man. Talking about this team every day. I'm just saying my prayers for you, man, because it's tough.
I appreciate it. Look, I have a great job. I love this fan base. I love this team. I'm tired of
they're
losing,
awesome.
man.
This fan base is awesome. Yeah,
it's brutal.
That's what makes it worse.
Is that the Washington Monument behind you there, John?
It is. Yeah. Yep. New leadership in Washington. So how to represent.
Is that why?
Yeah.
That's a very interesting background choice. But John, I appreciate the call, man. I hope you get to see some playoff football in the near future that you'll be a diehard fan to experience more.
Hopefully we all get to experience it soon, Jake, because the fans are awesome. That's what makes it worse, because we're all passionate. We all want to win, and this team always lets us down. That's what makes it worse. We have the best fan base in the NFL. I'll continue to say it, and that's what makes it worse. But, Jake, you did a great job last week at Radio Row. Keep it up, man. You're awesome, and you make the offseason more tolerable for us Jets fans. You make it more enjoyable. So thank you for all that you do for us.
Thank you, John. I appreciate it, man. Great call. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people have been very mean to me in the chat and on my Twitter mentions, so I don't know if that's true anymore. I used to be the optimistic, hopeful guy, but now because I dare question a move that this franchise makes, I'm now a hater. All right, enjoy the 4 wins. Unique Islam writes in, Jake, why can't we have a strong run game and a good D and win games? The notion that the season's over is short-sighted. For AR would be stronger if we won more than 5 games this year. Unique, they should have won more than 5 games this year. How many games did their kicker cost them? Who was one of the best in the league 2 seasons ago, and this year sucked. Did you see the defense this year go from number 3 in most available metrics, right? DVOA, points per game, yardage, etc., to bottom 3 in the league in those categories? Like, the argument would be stronger if we won more than 5 games. So we're going to blame Aaron Rodgers for giving them the lead late against New England, and then Jacoby Brissett throwing a Keyshawn Boutte and beating the Jets? Or we're going to blame Aaron Rodgers for Anthony Richardson going down the field? I didn't even think Rodgers played great that day, but they still put up, 27 points and lost? Like, this is what I'm talking about, man. They got competent quarterback play, which is all they needed if the team was what they were supposed to be. And they only won 5 games because it's the most Jet-like thing ever. So I already see it now. We're jettisoning Rodgers out of here. The team is now going to be worse next year, around the same, different levels of bad. Maybe they win 6 games. Great. And you guys can be like, they won 1 more game. Great. Let's celebrate 6 wins. That's awesome. Great job, team. Love that. Like, I already see where this is going to go. He's going to go somewhere else and probably play well. Hey, get ready for it. And if that happens, none of you better try and argue that this was a good move at that point. All right? You'll never hear the end of it on the show if that happens. That's my biggest fear. I hope Aaron retires, because I could 1,000% see him going elsewhere and playing well. I really could, because I think the coaching was that bad on this team. And I think Aaron Rodgers is too prideful to go out that way. I think he's going to find a way to play. Spencer Green says, let's lighten the mood. Bring the beast. Uh-oh. I don't know how that goes. Very polarizing move right there, Spencer Green. Got to be careful. Got to be careful. Well, you know what? I'll tell you what. Half the chat hates me anyway. So why not?
You know what time it is? A beast breaker. 666.
Incredible.
Take my wrist and shove it up your ass, and then he got
all right. Where do we go from here? They wanted the beast. They got the beast. Hello, beast.
Oh, Hugo House. Please sponsor your Hugo House now. Get your hats, get your t-shirts, get your nice shirts, and get this Jake Asman t-shirt. And remember, don't forget to get those Charles Gorman boxers. Get them while they're hot. And if you miss out, oh well.
Now, I appreciate the plug, Beast, but I can tell you the hat you're wearing and the shirt you're wearing is from jakeasman.com. Not here.
Oh, yeah. I want to also put that in. And also, ladies and gentlemen, get your Asmaniac hats, get your Jake Asman t-shirts, and also get your Beast freaking t-shirts right now. And hey, if you really want to do some more, come on the show and get them while they're hot. And we're gonna get some brand new Charles Gorman boxers. Yes, please get them while they're hot. And if you missed out, don't worry. Just keep them hot and sweet. And to the idiots who want a 4-win season, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That's the stuff you guys need to go get right now. If you miss out, oh well. Get them while they're fresh and get them while they're hot. And also remember, get this shirt while you're at it, and get this hat while you're at it. And also, if you want it in another different color, go and get it right now.
And remember, also support Hugo House too. Get your shirts, your tees, and so much more. Hey, we got the stuff. We got the spot to go get it. Go get it right now at HugoHouse.com and get them while they're hot. Because if you don't do it, you know what's gonna happen. See you later. Ooh. Now, how do you like those apples, baby? You like that?
Beast, I
now
appreciate
that's called a promo. That's called business.
Yeah, I appreciate the infomercial there.
Hey, it's called let's get Hugo House going. I'm like, hey, you sponsor the shirts. I'm like, you wear the shirts all the time, so hey, I want to be nice enough about this.
Hugo House is the hat company.
Crybabies out here. What happened?
Hugo House is the hat company that sponsors the show. This.
Oh. Your Hugo House hats right now. Don't forget them. If you miss out, hey, oh well. Get them while they're fresh. Get them while they're hot. And remember, just make sure you type it in HugoHouse.com. And don't forget it. Don't forget those t-shirts.
Promo code Asman.
And also adding to add that code. Add that thing called Asman. Yeah, that's right. Remember, don't miss out on this opportunity. Remember, you can get button shirts, nice shirts. You can even get the same shirt that Jake gets. Hey, and remember, go to HugoHouse.com. And remember, if you miss out, oh well.
Hey, Beast, Spencer wants to know who you want the Jet quarterback to be.
Right now, it's a tough decision because right now, what I'm hearing right now, I know yesterday you were in a foul mood, and I was so pissed off. But you see me use the table in my head, right? That's how pissed I got. I was like, to Woody Johnson, you dumb bastard. You need to be put in a nursing home. And I'll tell you why.
Hey,
you
take
are
it easy. Take it easy. We don't need to go after Woody personally. It's all good, Beast.
I'm one of those. When I know when someone lights the fire under my ass and gets away with that kind of murder, you're gonna pay for it. I'm not the kind of guy you want to get into the ring with. I'm gonna save my boxing gloves for the Rumble. It's just I want to make a point loud and clear that number one, you get a smugs with me. I'll take you out back and we'll get it down and dirty. I'm gonna just remember, I'm from the hood. You want to get in the street with me? Let's put your dukes up and let's see if you're a man. If you're not a man,
Beast,
take your monkey ass to the back.
Give us some combinations, all right? Show us your power.
This is what happens when you get down with me. You see this right cross? That's the Undertaker. This right here is the cemetery. You pick your poison right now. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, you know what? If you don't pick your poison with me, your ass is gonna go on the ground, and don't think I won't let you get on my sight within an inch, not even this much of an inch. You go down, and you go down in flames. And just like I lead by example, we're gonna do this. We're gonna take $10 billion, and we're gonna spend on talent. We are gonna find new talent, and I'm not gonna hear this. Round one, we need quarterbacks. I don't think so. No, we're not gonna fall for that. No. What we are going to do, we are going to get off our dead ass, stop bitching, moaning, groaning, whining, complaining, acting like little babies. We're going to learn to actually act like men. That means put your big boy pants on, get your big asses out there. And if we do get big boys, this is what I want. I want a Nate Newton size, a Lawrence Taylor size, Carl Banks, Jason Ferguson, John Abraham, Mo Lewis, Marvin Jones, and don't forget also some of the great runners that have been on the Jets for over a long period of time. We want men with honor and dignity and guts and brains. See, it takes a leader by example. If you want to do the job and if you want to be here, we'll bring you here. But if you don't want to be here, take your ass out of here. We'll give you a check, but here's the thing: we'll give you that much of a percentage.
Hey, Beast, JD wants to know what's the point of your rant right now. He's not buying into what you're saying.
What I'm trying to get across to you, son, is this is New York City. We will, if you want to come here, okay. But here's the deal: you're gonna fight for your check. You're not gonna get your check, just like this. No. You want to earn your keep? You want to earn your fucking keep here? This is what you're gonna do. You're gonna participate with the rest of the team. You're gonna come to work. You're gonna sweat. You're gonna bleed. But if you get your ass injured, you're coming off the field and you're staying off the field until you heal better. Because we will make sure we will take care of every part of your needs when we bring you here. Just remember this. We have 15 newspapers in this goddamn town. We are not going to bitch and whine and moan and groan to the media. We will stay off social media. We will get our heads out of our asses. And we're going to pay attention and we're going to learn to listen. This is what our problem is. Too much X, too much Instagram, too much of everything. We're going to...
Thank you, Beast. When you were talking about New York City, I put Nate on the line. Nate didn't even know he was on the line. Hello, Nate.
What's up, Jake? No, I didn't. I heard Beast's song, and I figured you were going back to him. How are you? Can you hear me?
Oh, we hear you.
All right. I'm torn on the Rodgers situation. I think you know my stance. Like during the season, let me pull over. I was a Rodgers guy, and I wanted him back. Like even when we saw the season wasn't going to be over. I feel like I definitely had to do some convincing after some of the games. You were out on Rodgers after certain games, and I get like new information changes all opinions, right?
The last 6 was good enough, plus the alternative options, and the fact he said publicly he was open to a pay cut, and what that would mean to bring Devontae back. So like all those factors played a part.
It's just, I'm making the point that like you always say all the time, it's your line. Like new information changes everything, just like you did throughout Rodgers throughout the season, and lots of Jets fans. And you have a very strong opinion about this Rodgers thing. We can agree on that. Like you're like Rodgers all in or out. But do we really have any information about what went on in that meeting outside of the Jets are not bringing Rodgers back?
You say that one more time?
Like, do we actually have information about the details and what went on between the Jets and Aaron Rodgers and the reasoning as to why it's not coming back? Is it did Rodgers demand a certain amount of money? Did he demand having Devontae and Lazard back? Did he demand running his offense or having at least some of his offense incorporated in the new offense? Like, so you're making this like very strong opinion and you're calling people fools, but without the information. Like we don't have information about the details of what went down. But it's like, if you don't agree with me, then you're foolish. And at the same time, like last year, you said we were a 9 or 10 win team, right? Maybe more. I think you might have had 11 and 6, whatever we were at. But to not have learned the lesson like a year ago of like we can't guarantee wins to fans when we don't know. It's the NFL. It's football. Like I thought the same thing too. I thought 9 wins at minimum.
Nate, I'm giving it an opinion. There's no guarantee here. I'm giving it an opinion.
No, I know, but that's the thing. That I feel like other opinions are just as valid. Where I feel like just because like you didn't foresee the defense shitting the bed this year and becoming terrible. You didn't foresee the kicking just from the greatest kicker 2 years ago to not being able to get through the uprights, right? It's like you didn't foresee that coming in the season, right? None of us did. But at the same time, we have to put ourselves where we were last year. Just because you can't see it now doesn't mean you can't foresee something changing in the future, right? Where we might make a trade for who knows what quarterback. We might draft a Cam Ward. We might get Justin Fields, and he might be the new guy who needed the right coordinator and Tanner Angstrom. Like, we just don't know anything. So to say, like, just like last year where it's like, we're going to get 10 wins. And if for all the people that were like, I think Allen wasn't even there, but there were people that were like, no, it's the same old Jets. We're going to get 5 wins. And they were called fools and put in the hole. So I'm just saying, I'm having like this flashback of last year of calling people fools and putting them in the hole where it's like, well, honestly, none of us know. We have 40%, less than 40% of our roster filled out at all. The GM probably doesn't even have his name on his desk yet. Like, so I'm going to give them a chance. And if this is the right move, I'm all behind what they're doing. And again, if it would have been Rodgers, I'm all behind that. As of now, we have a lot more cap space.
Yeah, but Nate, I can't do a show that way. Like, I appreciate it, but like, I don't get to sit here and be like, well, let's give it like, I could tell you I'll give it a chance, but if I don't give my opinion, none of you would give a flying F about the show. All right. If a show about the Jets is boring if the host doesn't have a strong opinion one way or another. Sorry. I can't sit here and be like, yep, I don't agree with this, but man, this could work. Like, it could. I'm also not going to sit here and blindly defend every move they make. I'm done with that. All right. I'm going to tell you how I feel. I think it's a mistake to move on from Aaron Rodgers. Doesn't mean it's wrong. They might end up being right. I hope they are. But I don't have the opportunity to just sit back and say, oh, we'll see how it goes. Like, no. I don't. You guys wouldn't watch if you didn't care about my opinions on the Jets. If I just said, we'll see, that'd be a pretty boring show. All right, we can only talk about Bobby's, chin hair for so long on this channel. All right, like I got to give an opinion. Doesn't mean it can't work. Like, I gave an opinion. I thought the Jets were going to be good this year. They were terrible. So I hope now that I don't love what they've done so far, the opposite happens. That'd be awesome. Like, that's my thing. And my opinion is allowed to change, too, based on new information. I'm not, like, dead set and stubborn on things either. They make some great moves this offseason. Maybe I'll feel a lot better about the season coming up. But right now, I feel like this team is winning 4 games or less. I don't think they're going to be very good. And that really, really pisses me off because I'm sick of losing. Sick of it. Disgusted by it. It has to stop. Unique Islam says, I'm confused why the narrative is enjoy your 4 wins like we won tons of games with AR. Because, okay, like once again, stop giving me the 5 wins with Rodgers this year as the end-all be-all. There's nuance to it. There's context to it. They won 7 with Zach Wilson. Does that mean Zach Wilson was a better quarterback than Aaron Rodgers? By the way, they didn't even win 7 with Zach Wilson. They won 5 with Zach Wilson and then 2 with Trevor Siemian. But you get my point. Like, are we trying to say that the quarterback play in 2023 was better than this year? It's not just about saying, well, they have this win. Like, that's it. I already read that one. Nick Shine writes in, that poor JA shirt is being stretched out and not ripping. High quality product right there. Support the merch store. Beast, what are your thoughts on the product of that shirt you have on there? Pretty good, huh?
That's right. Remember, everybody, get your Jake Asman t-shirts. And remember, don't forget to get this hat, too, at the JakeAsmanStore.com. And remember, also remember, Hugo House, ladies and gentlemen, get your button shirts, get your shirts, and remember, don't forget those nice Charles Gorman boxers.
Ladies and gentlemen, Beast Breaker.
You know what time it is? A Beast Breaker 666. I'm gonna take my fist and shove it up your ass, and then he gobble.
We had to address a comment here from a guy who just like, stop watching the show, dude. All right. There's a guy named Yo Holmes in the chat. All he does every day is shit on every opinion I have and this show. Yet you're in here every day. I don't know what's worse, Jake with Sabo or Beastbreaker, but it's just like nonstop to a point where this guy Jaro wrote, Yo Holmes, all you do is bitch about Jake and you're here every effing day. You sound like a beaten girlfriend. What a fool. So Yo Holmes, I don't know what to tell you, man. Find a new show because your days watching this one, they're gonna end, man. Like there's no reason for you to be here. All right. I am tired of seeing your comments. Nobody cares about your opinion. So you come here to voice yours, that's fine, but stop being a douche. It's not that hard.
Now look what you've done. No more protection from the Asmaniacs. Had to pull you out of the chat and cast you down with the sodomites. Some time in here will feel like you've been run over by the lane train. You understand me? You catch my drift? Give them another 24 hours to think about it.
What's funny is he'll be back for the afternoon stream complaining away. All right, Yo Holmes, keep doing your thing, man. You have some life. Alec K is up next. What's up, Alec?
Hey, Jake. How you doing? Hope
What's up, man?
Everybody's having a good day. Kind of feel a little bit in between on the thing. Yesterday when I got the news, I was sitting there like, you know what? Yeah, I'm glad we're getting the full reset finally. We're embracing change and saying screw it. Let's bring in a new regime from top down, bottom up, so on. The quarterback situation, I think we're kind of in a weird situation. I was looking at who is available because I don't think trading for anybody solves anything. Fields, Mac Jones, and Jameis Winston sound very interesting as a crop of free agents, but that's who it looks like our options are. Now,
Jameis would be fun at least. That's all I got on him.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with Jameis. At least Jameis would be an entertaining guy to watch. It would be fun to be a Jets fan, at least on the offensive side of the ball. Fields and Jones are interesting to me just in terms of maybe untapped potential that Tanner could maybe get into. And I think that's something that we should maybe consider more heavily. I was always somebody who said Jordan Travis should be, not thrown away. And I still kind of stand on that. I just want to see where he's at as a healthy guy. The last thing we saw him as a college quarterback. I mean, he was driving FSU to the college football playoffs and looked like he was going to win a Heisman potentially. So if that's there, if he can get healthy, I think there's just something there. And you know, you keep saying that everybody can have fun with their 4-win season, but you know, the one thing I think we should all kind of hold on tight to here is even if we have a 4-win season, that's not exactly something we haven't experienced before, but like, I don't think any of us want that. Nobody's expecting that. Everybody kind of looked at Rodgers' situation, I think pretty much the same as what we're expecting for next year. We're getting 8 to 9 wins, maybe, if the culture, the team building is starting to ramp up and is where we want to be. But I think anybody expecting us to be like a 10, 11 win team, I don't know if the talent really is there yet. I said all year we have a lot of talent, and now I kind of question that. You know, our coaching wasn't able to tap into that. Our coaching wasn't able to develop it. And we saw so many issues with their regression, and whether that was tackling, whether you saw that in their inability to cover space. It was just weird. It was just a really weird year for the defense. And I don't know if that's true regression or just bad coaching. I think bad coaching.
I mean, look at the Chargers, Alec. They probably had a worse roster this year than last year. And with better coaching, they were in the playoffs. Coaching matters, man. There's talent on this team. There is.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And our coaching has to find a way to take advantage of that talent. I don't know if, you know, I don't know enough about all of these new position coaches coming in, but I've heard and read lots of good things, like most Jets fans, I'm sure, have. But it seems like a good coaching staff that could do something there. I think we have enough youth where the potential still has the ability to come back and be turned into something. I don't think we're too far gone. Something I thought was interesting, though, with Tyrod maybe potentially having to be the guy starting week 1. Did you realize he was, and I didn't know this either, did you know he was our 8th highest cap hit for next year right now?
I did not know that, no.
He is our 8th highest cap hit. So, I mean, financially, as of this moment, if he has to start some games, at least it makes sense. Like, it just makes some sense. And the narrative of him being unhealthy, you know, I kind of thought about that a little bit more too. And I kind of went back and looked at and when he's been asked to start and expected to start, he's been healthy. 2015 through 17 were his only seasons where he was like asked to be essentially the starter from the beginning, and was like
2021. I was
in 2021. Yeah, he was, but that was the year that he with Houston where he got like this weird hammy injury, and they thought David Mills was having a great.
That's not what happened.
David Mills looked good that year, and he looked incredible for a little bit.
Alec, he sucked, and I was doing afternoon drive in Houston talking about Davis Mills every day.
People thought David Mills might be the guy in Houston.
No, they didn't.
There was a small window of time for like 3 or 4 games where people thought he was the guy. And Tyrod Taylor was being on IR.
Alec, I was there. Dude. That's not what happened. Oh my God, that's not what happened. Tyrod Taylor was supposed to start that whole year. He got hurt. That's exactly what happened. Mills was not a first-round pick. I'm pretty sure Davis Mills was like he might have been a third-round pick. It was the first pick Caserio made as the Texans GM. Let me confirm that right now. You can't relitigate the history of Tyrod Taylor in Houston when I was there every day talking about it for a living. Davis Mills, I think there was like blind optimism. Hey, maybe. But he was never looked at as the guy. The Texans couldn't wait to move on from him. He's a backup. He is what he is, a long-term backup. You know, they gave him a chance in 2022 to be the starter, and there was some thought, hey, maybe he could be the guy, right? Because he did have a couple of decent games in 2021. But Tyrod was supposed to start that year, and he got hurt. Just like the previous year, not his fault, he got hurt with the Chargers medical doctor. And then when he had to come in to replace Daniel Jones, he got hurt. This guy always gets hurt. Always. If you guaranteed me 17 games of Tyrod Taylor, then I'll feel a lot better about our chances next year of winning more than 4 games. Philly Noodles, Beast explained why A-Rod's gone from the hood. Is that what he explained? I'm not sure. All right, we're almost 3 hours into this show, so let's get to as many as we can here. Black Gypsy's up next. What's up, Black Gypsy?
What up, Jake? So, uh, whatever. Um, Aaron Rodgers being traded or not being re-signed, it's sucky, bro. Like it really is because 28 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. Like we're never gonna get another quarterback that does that.
It
Like
was less
we've
than
done
that.
that.
It was 11.
11 interceptions. Yeah,
And
like
three of them came in one game too. The London game.
I know. So like, here's the thing that bothers me about Glenn is that if he can't coach Aaron Rodgers, like who can you coach? Like you had golf. You know what I mean? Golf was another Aaron Rodgers, and he got far. So it's going to be the same shit over and over. We're going to get rid of Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams. They're going to end up on Minnesota, and they're going to have a wonderful season. Like wherever Aaron Rodgers goes, he's going to kick ass, and we're going to fucking punch ourselves in the face because we're going to suck again next year with a maximum win potential of 7 games. Like that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I think our ceiling is 7 wins right now. I agree.
It is. Like all the people, oh, Aaron Rodgers only had 5 wins. Like context, the defense really sucked. The offensive line couldn't do a running package. Like for him throwing 28 touchdowns with how the line was last year on the coaching, like who can make it blows my mind. Blows my mind. But we're gonna suck. We're gonna suck for quite some time. This is what we do because we just can't have nice things. In the words of Rich Eisen, we can't have nice things.
Nope.
And the second we get it, we get rid of it. Because I saw something yesterday that fucking infuriated me. Mekhi Becton has a fucking Super Bowl ring. Like that's the fucking Jets in a big circle. Like we get rid of players, we don't coach them right, we don't treat them right, we don't do whatever the case may be. They go to another team and they fucking win a championship. That's the Jets, bro. We're gonna keep on doing it. Like you said it, and it's true. When Favre was there and Favre went to Minnesota, he did good. Wherever Aaron Rodgers goes, whatever team he's on, he's gonna do good. He's gonna do way better than any quarterback we get from the draft or Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod Taylor has never had a season like Aaron Rodgers had this year when he wasn't. It's fucking mind blowing, bro. But again, another season of the same shit of us. It's just insane. But I hope, as a Jets fan, we can do something because it's just the same shit over and over with different coach.
Yeah, look, I hope that they surprise us and have like a 2015 season with whoever the quarterback is. It just, feels unlikely. But if Glenn's as good as all these people saying you had to do it because it's Glenn running the show, great. I hope Aaron Glenn is an incredible coach. I have my doubts about any first-timer. I was very impressed by Glenn at the press conference 2 weeks ago, but it's a press conference. Now we got to win games.
Yeah, like I haven't seen you coach anything. You've never been a head coach. Why would you not want Aaron Rodgers? Like Tyrod Taylor or Aaron Rodgers, no question. Aaron Rodgers is somebody from the draft this year. Aaron Rodgers. Like when I heard the news, I was like, "Are they serious? Like, are we really getting rid of Aaron Rodgers? And who are we going to replace him with? Because anybody that you replace him with is not going to have 28 and 11.
No, the only path is to build the better team around whoever the quarterback is. Have a real good running game. Defense is awesome. But if you're expecting a quarterback to be able to have a game like what Rodgers did against Miami the last week of the year, or New England on Thursday night, or have a game like he did against Jacksonville or the first Miami game, I thought he played very well too. Like you're probably not going to get that from any of these other quarterback options. Like Rodgers at his best is still by far and away the best option they could have had.
Rodgers at whatever he did this year was better than 50% of the other quarterbacks in the league. Like how it's insane. And we're going to do the same thing next year. Tyrod Taylor cannot take us anywhere. Like he's going to get hurt by game 4. He's done.
Probably. I hope not. I mean, I hope if you told me he plays 17 games, I'd be like, hell yeah.
That's
But
impossible. It's impossible. Never played a full season without having an injury of some sort where he was out for at least the game. Like he's injury prone, bro. Like, and then who's going to be the backup to Tyrod? Is it going to be another Douglas not getting a backup for Aaron Rodgers? Like, who's that going to be? And then who's going to like if you kept Aaron and you have Tyrod, like whoever you're going to bring in to as your other quarterback or 2026 when you get a quarterback, you're much better off. Like, I get cleaning house, but you better do better. Like, as a Jets fan, that's what I want. I don't want a fucking 5-win season. I don't want, like, we've done that already. We hired you because you're supposed to be good, and we have a good base. Like, you're getting your team better than Detroit was when they got to Detroit. We have way more players that are higher skill level. So, if we won 4 and you're getting rid of a guy that you only said are 5, then you should be able to win more than the guy that you got rid of. You better fucking win 7 or more games. Like, I don't want to hear the rebuild year. You got rid of the guy that was the best option in the rebuild year. So you better do better this year. Like,
Black Gypsy, I feel you, man. I love the passion. You know, apparently we're not allowed to be negative about this. We all got to just buy in immediately because but get ready. The first game they lose, all you people are so hopeful and optimistic, you're going to want to fire Aaron Glenn. I'm ready for that. I mean, come on now. Joshua writes in. Hold on. Let me fire this up properly. Let's do this like professionals around here. I lost his comment. Damn it. Well, Joshua, I saw your comment. Streamers don't let me pull it up, but to the Shadow Realm anyway.
Into the Shadow Realm you go.
Aaron Rodgers being voted the most inspirational Jet by his teammates is legit one of the saddest things I've ever heard.
Rat Diddy with a super chat. Jake has a better chance of walking the red carpet with Cindy Sweeney than Tyrod playing more than 15 games. Probably. I will say that the commercial she was in last night was hilarious with Meg Ryan and Billy Crystal. Back at Katz's Deli. That was a good Super Bowl commercial. When Harry met Sally, good job. I think it was a Mayo commercial for one of the Mayo brands. I forget. Taylor writes in, you don't think our young players are seeing big ticket and help with rings and one out? Free agency, here I come. Well, it's not up to them for some of them. I mean, Becton was a bust. He signed a 1-year deal. These guys want to get paid. Huff got paid and got a ring, but it's like getting an A on the group project you had nothing to do with. So, stop it. Anthony Wright says, Jake, put on your tampon and chill. Why don't you kiss my ass?
Has zero respect for this organization and this head coach. Forget what's going on with vaccines and just be a quarterback for 1 damn year. Instead of that, he's not here for no reason. The team isn't the problem. He's the problem.
Another bum. So Tina Cervasio, who's great, by the way, on Fox 5, had CJ Mosley on her show this morning. I haven't seen this yet, but here's CJ Mosley apparently being asked about Aaron Rodgers.
Players no out there.
So I know Jets fans watching, I'm going to have to slip this one in real quick, CJ. A lot of headlines yesterday before the Super Bowl even started that reportedly the Jets' new head coach, Aaron Glenn, who you and I talked about on Sports Extra last night, has said to Aaron Rodgers that they might be moving on. What's your reaction from the report?
I mean, no instant reaction. I mean, I guess until everything is set in stone. But I mean, if that is the case, obviously I'll reach out to Aaron personally myself. But it was, we tried to do something special. Injuries took part in that, took away a lot of time. But, he did do some great things this year, getting his 500 touchdown. He was a leader no matter what. When he came into the locker room, where he was with us, or, when he was with us this year. And, nothing but respect for him, to come back from Achilles, 40-plus years old. I know the wins and losses can get in the way of a lot of things that you can accomplish, but there's no reason for him to leave New York with his head down, because I know he gave us his all.
You think he'll continue playing?
I
Or
think
retire?
so.
Yeah.
He
looked good that last game.
We've seen him sling the ball around. He can definitely still play ball. He was real mobile towards the end of the year, so that was fun to watch. That definitely got the sideline going. But like I said, if he obviously it's up to him, but I think he's definitely still at least got a year or two in the tank. That's what he said before everything started.
Good luck to him.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, he'll be fine, right?
Yeah, he'll be okay.
He'll be fine.
He'll be just okay.
Kendrick Lamar.
Wow, another Jet teammate saying that Aaron Rodgers is a great teammate and leader and gave it his all. Man, shocking, I know, because that's always what has been the case. But let's get rid of the guy. Great. Jay Luby, would I rather have Tyrod or Jimmy? Tyrod, because he's been here, has a better contract. I'd honestly sign Jimmy so that I try and piece together 17 games of two quarterbacks who can't make it through 17 games. Because I don't think they're getting Fields, folks. I don't. I think Jimmy G is like somewhat realistic, I guess. I don't know how much was he making this year as the backup in LA. Let's see. He signed for $4.5 million for 1 year. His base. Like, that's realistic. Jimmy G with Tyrod. Great. Let's win 4 games. Can't wait. Anyway. If you're watching live right now, hit the like button. What we're going to do right now is take a quick break because I've been live for almost 3 hours. And when we come back, we'll get to your remaining calls. Appreciate all of you tuning in. It is the Jake Asman Show. A show unlike any other show. A show that's here for you every day, whether you love me or hate me. And many of you hate me right now. That's fine. Just keep watching.
Hi, how are you? Bruce Hall. That's good.
Lane, what's up, Lane Kerner?
Hey, and I'm Jake, my brother. How you doing? Do you have any other ideas about what you do now because the season's over?
I hope they draft really good players that help the Jets win.
I'm hearing that they might get, was it Knoble? Yeah, yeah. I see him going.
Wait.
I don't know.
Lane, who's Knoble?
The guy that the guy that was in college?
Well, a lot of these draft prospects were in college, so I'm trying to figure out who you're referring to. What position does Knoble play?
Was he because I think he plays in one of the college and stuff.
I don't know who Knoble is.
Yeah, Knoble. I forgot his last name. I would have to look it up.
All right.
And okay, thank you for taking my call.
Who's Knoble?
BJF, I'm gonna need you to figure out who this Knoble guy is. You're more of a draft guy than I am.
Knoble at 10. He's bust proof. Lane should get to announce the draft pick. No matter who they pick, you should say we took Knoble.
That was a top 3 Lane call ever. You're welcome, Gator. I can't wait to see what you do with that one. We had everything in there. He gave us a Bruce Hall. He gave us this Knoble character. I don't know who he's talking about, but maybe we'll figure it out. Whoa, holy crap, I can't believe it. Lane Kerner's in the house. Choo-choo. We are all aboard the Lane train. Hello, Lane. You guys know when the Lane train calls in, this show could go anywhere, so buckle up. What's up, Lane Kerner?
Zach Wilson is not going to come back. Why don't you think he's going to sign still with the Jets? Is it because he's not good?
He stinks.
Oh, stinks? Yeah, same feeling.
The guy is terrible.
I said announce the draft picks.
Lane, I want you to announce a Jets pick. That would make my
Yeah,
life.
I mean, who am I going to pick, though, for the draft? On the 2022 draft pick, the pick goes to Knoble out of college. Then they tell you who the players are from, and their families get excited. You sign him, he's to be good going into week 1. Yeah, I know a lot of the football.
That was amazing. I love you, Lane. You're the best. What a draft pick. Lane, you are a national treasure. I think in classic Charles Gorman fashion, I saw a comment from Charles that said, "Who is Knoble?" as we played a full video explaining exactly who Knoble is. So, Charles, I go to you next. Do you still not know who Knoble is?
I think Lane Train's an idiot. I don't think he knows what he's talking about.
What do you mean he's an idiot?
He's making stuff up. Who's Knoble? I looked him up on the internet and he's not there.
He is. He went to college.
Guys, stop it. Seriously, I know the bullshit coming out of your mouth. It's bullshit.
Charles, I don't like your tone.
Here,
Charles.
how do you spell Knoble?
Charles, I don't need to dignify your nonsense. See you later. Get out of here. How do you spell Knoble? Doesn't matter how to spell Knoble. All that matters is he's one of the great prospects we've ever seen. More of your calls right now. Let's go to Jake Klein. What's up, Jake?
Well, actually, first off, for 1 second, who's Knoble?
No, he's a phenomenal prospect for the New York Jets.
I tried Googling it. It said like amusement park things. I was like,
No, he played at college.
Okay. Okay. All right. I'll Google it another time, but
See you later. Jake, thanks for the time. Charles writes in, enough with the chicken soup talk. I'm pissed because of the stupidity this show has succumbed to. Hello, Charles.
Enough with the stupidity. I understand this Lane Train guy may be a nice guy, but does he even know what he's talking about? I've been looking this Kenobi guy nonstop. Here, I'll share my screen with you. I know you're laughing, Jake.
Yeah, I'm laughing.
Knoble.
Type in Knoble out of college. It comes right up. It's like the first search. Type it in.
I am out of college. There's no such thing as him.
You believe everything you see on the internet? You're telling me your Google is accurate right now?
Yes, it is accurate.
How is it possible, Charles, if Knoble's not real, that Gator was able to put together an entire draft profile?
Knoble, FP football player from college. He is 5'7", 109.8 LBS, prospect grade 0.0, production score 69, and an athletic score of 007. He's very good, gets flag penalties, but he's very, very good, and I'm very good at this, taking football players.
You're defending Lane Train. That's what you're doing.
He played for the Rhinos. You just saw it.
Jake, if you want to lose a subscriber, stop right now.
Charles, I will take Lane Train over anybody. So if you're going to unsubscribe to my channel over Lane Train, then you know what? You got to do what you got to do.
Stop defending Lane Train.
Charles.
He doesn't know what he's talking about, Jake. How about stop lying to yourself, stop lying to these people, and actually say the truth? I'm on your Discord, and one guy called Frankie Castle agrees with me.
Charles, I'll just keep playing Lane Train Sounders if you keep slandering the man.
I'm not slandering the man. I'm telling him. But you know what? I'm not in the mood right now. Goodbye.
Charles, thank you for the time. Well, people, are you Team Lane or Team Charles?
So when he was calling, he was so frustrated. And he's like, Jake, I'm Googling it right now. And Jake,
what a moment in time that was. Who's this year's Knoble during the draft season? We'll find out. Adam is too cool is next. Hello, Adam.
Hey, Jake. No, I love your energy. I'm glad that you're emotional. I'm glad that you're pissed. I think we're all pissed. This was a lost 2 years. That's what it really boils down to. I'm really happy that we tried something different. We tried to completely accommodate a Hall of Fame quarterback that was looking for a new opportunity to compete. And, it was a collective failure when it was all said and done. And I think we're all feeling it. And I think that's what this rage is about. It's a culmination of that. And Rodgers leaving, I think it's sad that we didn't get to give him like a send off, that last game in Miami, if we knew that was his last game, I think we would probably given him a little bit more appreciation on that game. But this was a surprise to a lot of people, a surprise to the players. So I get it. I know why people are upset about it. And I can totally see it. I was a little annoyed too. It's just, what a failure. But that's it. It's in the past now. We're going to have to bury it at some point. But let people feel the rage. I think it's good. Vent. Remember this. The players need to remember this. The fans need to remember this. It's not going to happen again.
We got to remember the rage. That's the selling point.
That's one part of it, but look, this is reality, right? It's a year-to-year league every year. You don't know what's going to happen. But what was interesting, a couple of interesting things. Number one, I was thinking about the personality of the head coach. I was thinking about Dan Campbell, actually. I was thinking about, is there any bigger personality than him on Detroit?
No, I mean he's the guy on that team.
Yeah. I'm thinking Aaron Glenn did the same thing. I was talking about this on Boyd Green on chat. It's like, he was like, the guy goes into the prison, knocks out the biggest guy in the room to show he's the alpha. And part of me wonders if that was part of it too. Glenn's got to be the biggest personality on this team.
Yeah, I agree with that. I just think for 1 year, if you view Aaron Rodgers through the lens of a bridge, Aaron Glenn could still be the biggest guy in the room. I think Aaron would buy in.
Yeah, it's certainly a possibility. And, it goes back to, you think about the experience and the brain trust that's surrounding, Aaron Glenn and Muji, right? You've got Spielman, who had to be a part of these conversations. You have Parcells probably mentoring. In fact, this seems more Parcellian than anything else. Did this with O'Brien, and then went to Testaverde to turn it around, right? And then this seems Parcellian. It seems actually not a big surprise. I think we all saw this coming, and we're all just
it's not a big surprise, but
Yeah.
I don't agree with it.
Yeah, and it's okay not to agree with it. And I think it's okay to also wish Aaron well. It doesn't mean you have to be BMAC, but I mean, if he does well for the Minnesota Vikings, I hope we don't see him in the Super Bowl. Otherwise,
unless
whatever.
Aaron Rodgers goes to an AFC East team, I hope he plays great, balls out, and is incredible. I hope he has a better year than what Favre did in 2009. I am rooting like hell for him to do great.
Exactly.
I really am.
He tried really hard. No one can blame the trying hard. It just didn't work out. You didn't see it on the field. Results weren't there, and it wasn't all him. We know that, but there were games where offense couldn't move the ball. That could have been coaching. That could have been him. Don't know. Doesn't matter. It's in the past, right? You think about the LA game. You think about the Buffalo game. These were serious defenses. Couldn't move the ball even during those prime last.
For sure,
couple weeks.
we all agree he was not perfect, but I
Not
just
perfect.
think
Great for us, but not perfect.
I get honestly. Them moving on from Rodgers doesn't annoy me as much as the rationale from some of these people in the fan base. Being like, they only won 5 games, Jake. Like, if you reference only winning 5 games, and that's your only argument, I can't help you because you didn't watch the games then. If you could just say, well, they only won 5 games. Okay, Justin Herbert won 5 games last year, too, with shit coaching of Brandon Staley, who got fired, and then they got Harbaugh. Please.
The 2 biggest reasons of the regression last year were the following. Number one, not moving on from Hackett and figuring out a different offensive scheme and making sure that Aaron Rodgers understood the consequences of not performing, right? I think everyone was a little too careful, too soft on that. That's number one. Number 2, the reshuffling of the line screwed it all up for the defense. And then with the defense not performing, that put more pressure on Aaron to perform. So when you're talking about how, Aaron gives us the biggest chance to win, that's correct. And that's even more weighted when your defense isn't good. But when your defense is good, you can get away with a little bit more. Hence why Mike White could get it done for a game or 2. Why Zach Wilson could get it done, because the defense was doing a little bit more carrying of the weight. But when the defense wasn't there, you'd need the QB to be perfect. And unfortunately, the offense really wasn't clicking with the talent that they had. Lots of other issues too. But that's kind of my summary of last year in a nutshell. But I think at the end of the day, we don't know what the full plan is, as people have pointed out. And at the same time, in light of not knowing, you're right to be pissed off. I'm totally fine with that.
I don't know what happened there. The Rodgers derangement people, they finally got me. But guess what? I'm back, bitches. Adam, good call. I don't know. Did Adam stay on and try and do the show, or he just left right away? He got spooked. How many people are watching that? Adam, you had a big audience here. 530 people were tuned in. City Bird, he writes in, why can't we look towards failed early quarterbacks after Baker and Darnold seasons? Fields, Pickett, Trey, Mac Jones, Zappy. One of those may be good. Of those options, the only one I would seriously consider is Fields. The other ones, no thank you. Zappy sucks. Mac Jones even worse. Trey Lance, no thanks. Pickett, I'm good. I'm good. All right, a few more calls, then we wrap. Ladies and gentlemen, let's say hello right now on the Gusbuster Umbrella Hotline to...
Hi, everybody. This is Bob from Vermont. I am Bob, of course. Jake, I'm on your side. I think the Jets are asinine. Asinine. I agree. 100% on your take. Everything you said was great. Because you said that there's no quarterback out there. Who's out there that's going to be better than him? He threw 28 touchdowns and 4,000 yards.
How about Daniel Jones, Bobby, your old friend?
Oh, he sucks. He could go. He sucks. Don't bring that.
I can see a Daniel Jones, Tyrod Taylor quarterback room, baby. We're bringing back the 2022 Giants.
You really want him to quarterback your team?
No, I was kidding.
Oh, okay. Thank God you were kidding because he sucks. No, I think they did a bad mistake. Aaron Rodgers is a good quarterback. It wasn't his fault. They lost 6 games because of kickers and the defense. That's 6 games right there, right? How can you blame him? He came all the way back with the Patriots, and then the stupid, who was there? Brissett was their backup quarterback, right?
Jacoby Brissett was the Pats' backup this year.
Yeah, and then they went down the field and scored the touchdown and won the game.
Mm-hmm.
Can't blame that on Aaron. He does not play defense.
No,
So the people who want to only win 5 games is congratulations, you guys. You got your wish. Yeah, you got rid of Rodgers, which is a better bridge than any other quarterback out there, right? Because you said, who was that before when they got Allen? Who was that one you said? The guy on your team now, right?
Tyrod broke the playoff draw for Buffalo.
And there was another guy you said, another quarterback bridge.
Phillip Rivers when he went to the Colts.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so see, I'm on your side. The Jets suck. They don't know what they're doing. I don't know why they even got the 33 team. They suck.
39-year-old Phillip Rivers, 11-5, 68% completion, 24 touchdowns, 11 interceptions.
Right.
4,169 yards, started 16 games that year. I think with better coaching, Aaron Rodgers could have a similar type of impact on the Jets next year.
Well, one question: do you think he would change the offense, like people were saying? Would he go to their kind of offense?
I think he'd be more bought into what the new offensive scheme would be. I think he'd have to be.
And you said he might drop, get rid of some of the money to keep his
he was
pal.
he was going to take a pay cut. Exactly.
Yeah. So what is people yelling at you for? You're not the Jets. You're not the people who screw up. I'm on your side.
Thank you. Well, people don't like my opinion. They wanted to move on from Aaron. I say, okay, great.
Well, some opinions I don't like your opinion, but this opinion I agree 100%.
No, I see.
I'm
Which opinion of mine do you not like?
Oh, I know. So, when you play the funny videos.
That's not an opinion. That's just me being a talk show host.
Yeah, that's true. You do a very good job.
You don't like me being a talk show host?
Who was the other guy that you had on today?
You don't like when I play this?
Oh
no! Or when I play this?
No, I don't like the bottom. I don't like the bottom one.
I see.
I like those two. Those are funny. So no, stop yelling at Jake. Jake has at least the brains for what to think. I don't know what's his name did. Head coach, he screwed up. Okay, who's your coach? Aaron Glenn, who's your coach? Now come out and tell us. We can't wait. We're getting on board for another 5-3 season, 13 season. Giants are going to be the same way because they suck too. So you think Fields is the better one, the bridge? You think?
I mean, I would want to sign Fields to compete with Tyrod because they need another quarterback. It's going to be Tyrod and someone else.
Right, definitely gotta be because you don't have the other kid who got injured this year. The guy from Florida State, the guy. And I went to bed at halftime yesterday of the Super Bowl. It was a blowout. I went to bed at 8:20. So that was a very good show. Oh, who was that funny guy you had on your show today?
Who's the funny guy?
The funny guy. He said, "What's your act?" The act guy, the one that you had calling in from your Twitter account. What was his name?
The what guy?
The Twitter guy you talked to today for a very long time.
The Twitter Hoodie Allen.
Hoodie Allen's pretty funny. I never.
He's not a
saw
Twitter
him.
guy. He's a musician.
Oh, he's a musician. Okay.
Yeah, type
I
in
don't
Hoodie
know.
Allen on Spotify. You'll recognize some of his songs. He's very
Okay.
famous.
What, rap? What?
He raps. He sings. He's got over 1 million followers.
All right, I'll go there. Spotify. Okay, I didn't never heard of him, but he got
There you have.
He agrees with
maybe,
me too.
Maybe you should have him on the Bobby Midnight Show, and it will boost your ratings.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, who's the guest star next at 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock show?
I don't know. Mystery.
Oh, you don't have anybody?
It's to be determined.
All right. Well, you enjoy your rest of I'll see you around 4:30.
No, you have a good one.
Okay, bye now. Enjoy. You're a dick guy. Yeah. Oh, you got one more call? You got enough for one more call? Look at Jackie laughing. I've been waiting in the back. You put that guy on. Who is he? You're a dick guy. Yeah. So how you doing, Robby Sabo?
Good. What's up, buddy?
No, goodbye, Bobby. See ya. We have reached the 3-hour mark of this show. There's 3 calls left, including our closer, the Chiefs fan, reacting to his team losing in the Super Bowl. But first, we have Daz on the line. Hello, Daz.
You're out there. You're out there. First time caller, long time listener. How's it going?
Where are you calling from, Daz?
Do you hear me? I'm calling from the UK. That's why I have a really weird voice. Yeah. I was actually stood behind you at the tailgate party before the what's it called? Before the Jets game when we were over there.
Oh, at the Jets-Vikings game? You were at the tailgate?
Yeah, I was. I stood behind you when getting pizza, but you were talking to people, so I didn't bother speaking to you.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you saying hello then.
Yeah. No. Just firstly, this draft prospect that we're talking about, Knoble, is it?
Yeah.
Is he? Do you think he's going to be good on the 7th round this year? Sorry, 7th overall pick this year, or did he go last year, or how did that go?
There were some character concerns with him, so he actually went undrafted and then was involved in a very serious car crash. So we don't truly have an update on where things stand. It's been a while.
Yeah, he'll be in the CFL then, won't he? That's fine. Aaron Rodgers anyway. It's a joke, basically. It's a massive joke. We ain't getting anyone decent, quarterback wise. Darnold, he's not going to want to come because he's going to want He's going to want a long-term contract. Same with Fields, I'd say. He'll want a long-term contract. He's going to want to do a 1-year kind of thing. So we're going to end up a bridge quarterback.
Darnold, I don't think would ever come back because I don't think he'd want to deal with everything that comes with being the Jet quarterback again. I think he needed to go somewhere else where it's less scrutiny, less pressure, or something would work.
Absolutely, yeah. No, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, no. I mean, anyone else? There's just none better. No better options. I wanted to keep Aaron from last year. I mean, I'm not a massive on the cap. I don't really understand it. My country don't really do it. But I'm assuming we're paying 14. It'd be like 14 million this year, wouldn't it? They'd have to pay extra. They've got 49 already. We've already paying. We'd have to pay an additional 14 million, wouldn't we, to keep him for next year? Am I right with that?
Yeah, I mean, I understand all the talk of the contract stuff. They, the path the Jets are going down, they'll have cap flexibility. I mean, if they cut Adams and they cut Rodgers with a post June 1 designation, cut Lazard with a post June 1 designation, cut Xavier Gibson. I mean, I just freed up $77 million of cap space with those moves.
Yeah, it's just not worth it though. It should have kept Rodgers. At the end of the day, it's just utterly not worth it. Every year extend, they get more draft capital. It would have just been swallowed up. The difference in the amount of money, it's not worth it at all. So that's really what I want to say. I think you're completely right. I think they're fucking being moronic. But there we go. What can I say? I'm just from the UK. I don't have any sway when it comes to that building. So isn't it?
Neither. I have the biggest following on Jet YouTube. I have no sway in that building either. So you're not alone, Daz. Don't worry.
No problem. Right, thanks for taking my call.
I appreciate it. Daz, great call, man. Call back more. It was nice to meet you in the UK.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. I wish you knew how to hang up, though. Just get me out.
I got you. Daz, check it in. Good stuff there. I mean, look, the Jets follow what we say, but they don't have to listen to us. They shouldn't listen to us. I just hope they're right with their decision. If they did listen to me, they would have had a backup signed before the 2023 season started. We would have been in the playoffs 2 years ago. That I promise you. Ladies and gentlemen, we have 2 calls left. One of them we already announced. The other one is ready to go. He's got a lot to say, and the only way we can bring him on is by playing this.
Butt plugs.
Howdy, Rob.
Hey, Jake. I don't know what I'm smiling about, Jake. Nothing to smile about. Just been hearing your show and stuff, Jake, and I don't know, man. I hate to sit here and call out people, but unless you have a better game plan and they tell you the game plan.
No, we got to wait and see. Remember, it's all about waiting and seeing.
I mean, quickly they tell you, Jake, oh, but they only won 5 with Aaron Rodgers, but no nuance. They don't mention the bad coaching. They don't mention that Hackett was still there. Oh, he's doing cadence. Doing cadence because you have a dope like Hackett sitting out there. You don't have a real offensive coordinator. And then you have a bad lines coach who got immediately fired, which was one smart thing that Aaron Glenn did. So they don't mention any of that. They don't mention that we lost because of our defense. They don't mention because the kicker cost us at least 3 games. And our defense at least cost us 3 or 4 games. Put that all together, Jake. How many wins do we have? Guess what? We have 10 wins and we're in the playoffs. So nobody's saying that Aaron Rodgers had this fantastic, great year. He didn't. All right. He was average at best. But you know what, Jake? If everything else fell into place, would it have been enough to make the playoffs? Yes or no?
Yeah, I think if they had the 2023 team last year with last year's Rodgers performance, I think they're a playoff team.
But I mean, people are so quick to say, "Yo, I'm glad to move on from him." I mean, he's a head trip. Players hate him. Really? Why is Brees wanting him back so badly? Why are there players tweeting out that they want Aaron to stay if he's this terrible person? I mean, where's this long line of people who want him to go? Everyone thinks that Garrett wants him gone. I don't believe that. I don't buy that. I don't buy that. I really don't. I think he's frustrated of losing. I'm sure he is. But, people who speak out in the station, give us your game plan. What is the game plan after Aaron Rodgers? Well, I don't know. We'll just draft someone in 2026. That's your game plan? I mean, so we're punting away this year, and then we're waiting for the following year. And then if we get lucky, Jake, if we get lucky and we find the right guy, he's got to develop for at least another year. So what are you looking at, 2027? So we're going to sit here for the next 2 years, call you up, Jake, and say how much we suck. At the end of the day, Jake, I'm sorry, I don't mean to sit here and call out people, but there's people who have barely 1,000 subscribers, and then you who has 41,000 subscribers. I tend to listen to you. You know, I tend to value your opinion.
I don't, Rob. I don't care about that. Like, I'm just a fan. I'm like, my opinion is not greater than anyone else's opinion. I'm just a fan. I don't like the move. Like,
No, but it's common sense what you're saying, Jake. It's common sense because all these people keep on saying, let's move on, let's move on. But I yet to hear this great game plan. Where is this great game plan?
That's my point. That has been my point. It's
Peter Castro, Neil, Bonesy, in that regard, they're correct. Okay, you could take a note on the 20-0 and all this. Okay, you know, we all had a nice laugh. 28 Island.
Hold on 1 second. Nate writes in that subscribers doesn't mean he knows more about football. Coach Parcells has less subscribers than me. That's right, Nate. And Bill Parcells knows jack shit compared to me, Nate. Damn right. Continue, Rob.
We love you, Nate. We love you, Nate. But I mean, you know, but nobody yet. I don't see no game plan.
Let's hope they have this great plan and it works. I don't know. I find it hard to believe we're going to have somehow better quarterback play than we had this year. But, you know, the Jets obviously are never wrong.
I see all the tomatoes, but you know what? You can throw the tomatoes at me, but you know what? Until you have a game plan, call into Jake's show and tell us the new game plan under Aaron Glenn. I want to hear it.
You know what? I throw the tomatoes at me, all right?
Okay.
I want some tomato juice, all right? I'm in. All right, give me all your tomatoes. I'm going to squeeze them
I'm
in.
okay with it. They can throw tomatoes. But you know what, Jake? At the end of the day, none of these people told you this precise game plan. Now, Aaron is gone. Maybe like Justin Fields is our best out of all these guys. And I hate to admit it, he probably is. So, you know, what are we looking at? Probably not the playoffs. So, I mean, people are okay with it.
Realistically, we're probably looking at like a ceiling of 7 or 8 wins and more likely a 4-win season. Realistically.
That's a lot. I mean, that's if Tyrod doesn't get hurt.
Yeah, like in best case, Tyrod plays most of the games. You're probably a 7 or an 8-win team.
Right. If Tyrod, if we're going to our second quarterback, whoever it is, we're not looking at 7.
Yeah, that's why I skew closer to 4 than I do 8, if I had to guess.
Yes.
But we'll see. I hope they win 10.
Tyrod's going to have to stay healthy this year, like you said. If he doesn't, we're looking at a really shitty season.
Hey, Anthony Wright, kiss my ass. See ya. Continue, Rob.
That's okay.
Sorry, I'm 3 hours in talking about the same thing. I can't.
I know. It's frustrating, Jake. I mean, we stood here and we were at least hoping, you know, Aaron Glenn and Muji would have the good sense of at least making him the bridge quarterback. And for him to come to New Jersey, I think he had all the intentions of staying. I think he would have stayed. But the Jets chose to move on. They made that clear that the Jets chose to move on. So I want to see this great game plan. You know what? If it's all of a sudden picking up a Stafford, I would be totally okay with that. It's not going to happen. I'm just saying. If they picked up like a Stafford who's 35, 36 and still fairly good quarterback, I would say, okay, I'm buying into this. But, you know, we're yet to see what the game plan is. Everyone's calling in and saying, good riddance, Aaron. But you know what? Give us when you call in and you say that, please give us your game plan. We're going to do blah, blah, blah. And then let's talk about it or laugh about it. One of the two, like, you know, because that's all I'm saying, Jake. That's my 2 cents. People can get mad at me, but
I'll tell you what, Rob. You called this guy out indirectly, and he has called in to respond.
Ladies and gentlemen, sports fans of all ages, welcome to the event of the year, the moment you've all been waiting for. This is the Asmaniac Rumble.
Go ahead, I'm here. I know you like drinking. Take your shot.
What's your game plan?
I'm not the fucking general manager. I don't have the game plan. It's February 10th. There's 8 months till the game. You don't think they're going to get someone, Rob?
Who?
I don't have the answer, Rob. I'm not the general manager.
Exactly. So why would you be excited? Why are you giving this guy the benefit?
What am I excited about? It's not excitement. It's the right move going forward. You don't run it back with a 41-year-old quarterback who's a failure.
A failure. 28 touchdowns is a failure.
The goal is not to surpass the Jets teams of the past. The goal is to compete on the top tier in the NFL. An immobile quarterback doesn't do that, Rob. I know I don't have enough subscribers for you to value my take, but I'm also not a racist
not on
piece
this
of
take,
crap.
I don't. I think you're wrong on this take. I think you're dead
Okay,
wrong.
that's fine.
I'm sorry.
That's fine. I just started doing this full time last year. I appreciate you subscribing to my channel, but don't be taking shots at me Be a man
you mean like the
and
way,
do it directly
like the way you
to me,
took
like
a shot
I'm
at me?
doing it to you right now.
You mean the way you took a shot at me the other day on your station with the KKK?
I take shots all the time at you. I know
Forgot
how
about
much you
that?
love shots. Remember when I
Forgot about
told you
that?
this summer that I don't drink anymore, and you decided to swirl your fingers in your glass and said, "Oh, I just want to rub it on your lips a little and see what happens."
Okay, and I
Just
come
to
up
show
and I
everyone the
apologize.
type of character we're dealing with
But I
here.
apologize
That's what
to
you
you.
say to somebody with 18
Okay.
months sober at the time. By the way,
And then you're talking about
23
the
months
KKK
sober
on your
today,
show,
and nothing's
right?
happened, you fucking clown.
Fuck you.
Fuck me. Go ahead. You'd probably like it, you fucking weirdo.
On behalf of the Jake Asman Show, we apologize for the foul language.
Boy, did that escalate quickly, huh? Yikes. God. This is what 14 years without the playoffs does to you. What a show. Now, if you're not subscribed after that, I mean, I don't think I'm ever getting there. All right? Now, you find me the show that's giving you that. All right? Two grown men calling each other names because they disagree about their favorite football team. There's nothing like it. I'm at 41,266 subscribers. I mean, if I can't get to 42 by the end of today, I mean, man, love it. All right, that was a great rumble though. We haven't had one of those in a while. Henny, I see your super chat here. How did the Rodgers game plan work out, Rob? I mean, obviously, when we say bring Rodgers back, there's some serious things they do differently. I don't know how many times I can repeat that, but I digress. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, there's only one guy we could go to on the day after his team lost in the Super Bowl. It's time to bring in the closer.
It's G-Span.
Guess what? I'm still looking for a job, bitches.
It's G-Span.
I'm just going to rub my hands together all day.
It's G-Span.
There's a whole lot of DNA on this couch.
Let's hear it for G-Span.
Look, it's my dead neighbor that I didn't kill.
Not enough shrooms, weed, and alcohol can numb the fucking pain.
I get it. You obviously have a right to be disappointed and upset, but can you be that mad? Yeah, I mean,
I wanted the three-peat. I
get it.
So bad.
I get it. And the Patriots wanted to go undefeated, but you know what? They still had 3 Super Bowls before that. You've seen 3 championships the last 5 years.
6, 5, whatever, man. Last night, after I got done ranting, I just went over and bought myself some overspent on vodka and just chugged like 4 or 5 shots because I was that disappointed.
Do you think that's going to help you get over the game?
Honestly, I wish I was in Chicago, because if I was in Chicago, I would have went to my friend's house, got some weed and shrooms, real actual weed to grow in the hood, and smoked fucking the herb right off the green.
I wish my team could lose in the Super Bowl while trying to get a 3-peat.
I don't, on the Aaron Rodgers situation, it's 50-50. I don't know, man.
That's it. We're on to Rodgers. That's it. You're already over the 3-peat. We're talking about the Jets.
No. I just wanted to say that, but I'm so pissed. And all these people, I was getting so much hate messages in Telegram. If you know what Telegram messaging app is, I had to put up with so much hate last night to the point where I told them, come and find me so I can knock that ass out and throw you into Roofie Island, where you can be someone else's bitch and not my problem.
I'm not quite following, but I love the passion.
Like everyone on Telegram, like I had Chiefs fan in my bio. They were just targeting Chiefs fans last night on Telegram.
I mean, I don't know what Telegram is. Is that an app?
It's a messaging app that's been around since 2013.
How many apps are you on, Cheats fan? You were like in our Discord the whole night last night, and now you're on another app too?
Discord, Telegram, Facebook Messenger.
What about MySpace?
No. I'm also on
what about OnlyFans?
No, OnlyFans. I'm also on a few chats that I can't remember, but like the old chat rooms that I still pop into those old chat rooms. Can't remember the name. I'm so fucked up after last night.
Well, I would say you have it pretty good if you're very upset over not winning a Super Bowl for the 3rd year in a row.
I mean, the only person I was happy for is Barkley. Every other Philly player can eat my ass at the Taco Bell. No,
Whoa. We don't want any eating of the ass on this show. That's for OnlyFans for you Cheats fan.
True. But that last call between Nick and Ish, a lot of that was going on in the Chiefs Discord last night. People were cannibalizing each other. So
They were eating each other?
Well, like destroying each other in the comments. Like, you know how Jets fans fight? I call it cannibalism. When you guys try to go at
Now,
each
to
other?
be clear, you've never actually had any humans for dinner.
No.
Okay.
But like we call that cannibalizing, and like if you two people are beefing
Who do you
with
think would taste better, Nick Shine or Rob from Glenhead?
neither. Because eating, I don't want to eat male meat. I want to fucking have a relationship with a female, not a male.
You want to have a relationship with a female?
Yeah.
Right, but we're talking about eating meat.
Yeah,
So
my bad.
So are you saying you prefer to eat a female?
No, I mean not the cannibal way, but the sexual way. If you know.
Oh,
what
I
mean.
see.
Sorry if it went there. But yeah, I'm still gonna come to New York for a game with y'all. I'm just disappointed. I did not expect to be down 34-0. That shit was crazy. I only came on the show because my friend says you need to be on the show to let people know how you feel, because he is a Giants fan, and he told me just to man up. Like if we could. He told me just to man up and be on the show. He's been a Giants fan since the 50s. He's one of the newly people that goes and plays Magic the Gathering. He's a 70-year-old man that plays Magic the Gathering into locals. And he's like, just man up. Just take it like a champ. And I'm like, fuck it. I honestly don't think we're going to get back there to the chance to ever three-peat. I don't think any team will ever three-peat. And I don't like, it'd be funny, Jake. The Jets make it to the Super Bowl and blow out someone, and then 50 years later, like you're doing it all over again, like because that's how I'm feeling right now about my Chiefs. I'm like, we won one after 50 years, and we did this, and this, and then. Let's just say I got 6 hours sleep and I'm still hungover. And I'm not.
Cheats fan, did you find your dead neighbor this time around? Last year you did after you guys won. Did you run
No,
into
that was actually during the third quarter. This time my neighbor who went to rehab for losing weight, like the neighbor who I was really close to before he let himself go, this time he decided to not follow his diet and had to get sent to the hospital because his blood sugar levels were through the roof.
Do you think it's time for the Chiefs to move on from Mahomes?
No. I think it's time for us to move on from Matt Nagy.
Do you think we should potentially start Carson Wentz next year and bench Mahomes?
No, I rather drink gasoline and swallow fire than that.
When was the last time you had gasoline?
Never. But like
never yet.
Never yet. I was in Nick's server last night. I'm like, if I go to a Jets game, I just want to be smoked out. So
now, if you come to a Jets game, are you still going to need to? Well, let me word it like this: do you still want me to get you an escort?
I can hang out with the guys, get an escort, but all I know is
you got to answer the question: a male or female escort?
Female. But like
blonde or brunette?
Brunette. But let me just say this: do they allow smoking weed at Jet Stadium? Because I'll do that with y'all.
Of course they do.
Oh wow, New Jersey is a weed state. Let's go.
Well, in the parking lot, not actually in the stadium.
Okay. Oh yeah, because you don't want it to be around the youngins. And speaking of the youngins, you and Connor going at it yesterday. I did not expect that.
We're a passionate fan base of all ages.
Yeah. I'm just looking forward to baseball season and watching my team disappoint while your team does better.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I root for the Jets, and you just rooted for a team that was in the Super Bowl for the third year in a row, trying to win it for the third year in a row.
Honestly, after that, I thought Kelsey's gonna retire, but like, let me just go back to the Rodgers thing. I'm like, it's stupid because now you're gonna either put Tyrod or someone in there, and Justin Fields is gonna be on the market for a lot of money. Like, I could see a team like the Raiders overpaying him, or you guys forced to having to have Silverman or someone as a backup, like you guys had back when you had or someone who was really ass back when Rodgers got hurt with Wilson. And as for your quarterback situation, people who want you to reach for number 7 don't. I don't want you guys to reach. I think if you do go quarterback, it should be in the second round. If you want to trade back into the first round, don't. Because it's always going to be quarterbacks that go, into the second and third round, like Hurts did.
This is why you had to call in today, Cheech fan. You understood the responsibility of being a top seed in the tournament.
Yeah, I had to. I had to. I understand I'm not getting that much shit talking, but like, I'm glad that people's not doing that. But like last night, I was throwing hands back in Telegram comments and Discord comments.
Real quick, before I let you go, Rob from Glenhead or Nick Shine? Not saying you would eat either of them, but if you had to guess, who tastes better?
Neither, because neither. I'm not going to do that. I'm like, I'll eat a female certain area, but I won't eat anyone's butt parts.
It's Chiefs fan.
Guess what? I'm still looking for a job, bitches.
It's Chiefs fan.
I'm just going to rub my hands together all day.
It's Chiefs fan.
There's a whole lot of DNA on this couch.
Let's hear it for Chiefs fan.
Look, it's my dead neighbor that I didn't kill.
That's why many think Chiefs fans a 1 seed, man. Calls like that. We hit on a lot there. Imagine trying to explain this show to people who don't watch. You can't. It's a show about the Jets and much more. I was trying to describe it to Stu Gotts the other day. EJ writes in, Jake, you and I may disagree on the Rodgers saga, but I love your show. So entertaining. Thank you. Appreciate that, EJ. That's what it's all about. I'm passionate, but I respect everyone's opinion on it. I just get annoyed when people like take things I say out of context or misrepresent them. That annoys me. But everyone has a right to their opinion on this show. That's why we have people on from all different viewpoints. The amount of people that are like, how could you have Costello on? Same way I have Samini on always, or Hughes, or all these guys. They do my show. But if you write 5 wins like Love Bites, you're gone automatically. So Love Bites, we'll see you later. Lucky for you, the show's over, so you don't have to worry about it. Anyway, great stuff there from Cheats fan. Great stuff from Nick Shine and Rob. They really made some salient points to one another. I'm back in a few hours. I got to go send out some giveaway winners, their items. Let me show you guys what I have them in too. Stand by. So these are brand new in the Jake Asman merch store. We now have show duffel bags. I'm going to use this to Indy next month or this month when I travel. Asmaniac Jake Asman show duffel bags. But in here, I have all the prizes for the Raffle. Klecko Hall of Fame helmet. Gastineau helmet. The Namath one is a lot bigger, so I'm not going to take that out because it's in the glass protective casing. But I have all the items in here. So, those will be sent out today. So if you want a prize on Friday, congrats, it's coming. All right. Now we can end the show. Thank you to everyone who tuned in. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Peter Castro says, I need a hat. Well, I mean, I worked out, man, and then I did this show. It's called hat hair. Or headset hair. I always wear a hat on the show, too, because, like, This, brutal. But anyway, thank you all for watching. God bless. Go Jets. Here's my One Jets Tribe cameo. Enjoy.
Big news from Jets ownership. They have hired the 33rd team, which was founded by former Jets GM Mike Tannenbaum, to assist with the GM and coach search.